You got Easter Sunday. I'm going to admit it to you, not the biggest Easter person. I had a family tragedy that occurred on Easter, and I always associate this weekend with that family tragedy. So I'm not the biggest Easter person in the world, but I know it is a very big holiday. Children love it for the Easter egg hunting and for the Easter baskets full of candy. And, of course, Christians celebrate it because of the rise of Christ from the dead after 3 days entombed. I'm joined today by my very capable co-host who could actually host this show if JJ and I wanted to take the day off.
Hardly.
Lori Martin Gregory. Lori, how are you today?
I'm doing so well, thank you, Tom.
You got some fantastic news. I don't know if you want to talk about it on the radio, but you got some fantastic news today, so your day's going very good, isn't it?
My day's going very well, thank you. Yes, and I'll be happy to share in this hour what's been going on.
I think it's quite amazing news. We'll get to it.
Aside from the fact that it's a beautiful spring day, it's such a season of renewal with Easter and Passover and spring, and it's just a really great time to sort of feel like you're starting anew.
I just thought it was a good day because Buddy wasn't here.
Well, that's a new day.
Thought that was why I was. We're also joined by JJ LaSalva. JJ, how's your afternoon going? He always turns his mic off.
Right.
That's good, Tom.
You enjoying the spring day?
It's all right.
Because you got on a long sleeve sweatshirt, big Brian Mormon jersey. I don't understand how you think it's cold outside.
Wait, who jersey is this?
That's Brian Mormon, punter for the Dallas Cowboys. Used to be the punter for the Buffalo Bills.
JJ, you're not a Cowboy fan.
No, that's the Buffalo Bills jersey.
Oh, okay.
But that tells you how bad the Bills are. The best jersey you could get is Brian Mormon, the punter.
No,
really.
Good.
No, not good at all.
No.
Big hat.
Glad to be here instead of Buffalo today.
Pretty
much any day, I would say. Yeah. Yes. Pretty cold up there.
So on today's show, we're going to discuss. I found a story, Lori, about a story, Lori. That's pretty good. I found a story today about a memo released by the FBI that just might show that there were UFOs in the 1950s.
Pretty sure that's true.
Pretty sure.
Well, so this is sort of maybe like
this is a memo from an FBI agent to J. Edgar Hoover.
So is this like recently declassified kind of thing?
Yeah, it was in 2012 through the Freedom of Information Act. It's declassified information.
So does it line up with everything we know about, say, maybe like an Area 51 kind of situation?
It has a lot to do with the supposed crash in 47 in New Mexico and everything. Yeah, but I'll have some thoughts on why I think it's a very funny story.
Okay.
And because it's a very Hollywood-based story, and I'll explain that when we talk about it.
You might be suspect. We'll see.
I just think it's very great. It's either Hollywood reacted off these kind of stories, or these kind of stories are a little jaded with what Hollywood's thought
Ben
process
Affleck's
are.
not making it into a movie or anything. A true story movie or anything like that?
No, not right now. Also on today's show, we're going to discuss the possibility of internet fraud, of feel-good stories. Do they actually happen, or are we just cynical as a society?
That's a good question.
Do we go out of our way as a society to try to find fraud in every case that we see when people post? And I'll give you an example. When people post the feel-good stories about, I left my waitress who was, 6 months pregnant, still having to work. I left her a $100 tip, and they put their credit card receipt on the internet to show the $100 tip. Or when a restaurant comps a family their meal because of some family tragedy and the restaurant posts it. Is that actually feel-good stories, or is there now so much fraud on the internet where people are using these kind of faked, photoshopped, if you will, type receipts to make themselves look good?
And is it happening more often because we hear about it, or is it just because of the internet you're exposed to these stories more frequently?
And we'll discuss that because it happens. It seems like every week you can go on Google or Yahoo and find a story of somebody that leaves a tip, or something got comped, or this receipt,
right.
Or somebody writes something, I don't tip because I'm a doctor and nobody tips me. I saw a receipt like that
no
one
way.
time. Oh yeah.
Used to be like urban legends, like famous people. You'd hear sort of stories about whether or not they. But now we actually see photos. I mean, thanks to social media, and
are these actual? Is this reality, or is this very good faked reality for advertising purposes, especially when restaurants show it to pat themselves on the back on how good they are to their customers.
Tiger Woods rumored to be a very bad tipper, by the way.
I will tell you from personal experience, I played very high-end poker. For 7 or 8 years, I traveled around the country playing.
Anything over $1 is high end in my book.
I played a lot more than over $1. Okay?
Like $2? Pretty sure it's more than $2.
I'm pretty sure that if I was in a $2 game, I was in the wrong game. But what you will find is I know for a fact, I've watched it, people who play big money poker have big money and are horrible about taking care of the service industry.
Yeah, well, that
I
maybe this is true.
literally was out with some friends of mine. I won't say who they were, but some guys that I was friends with playing poker, guys that are multimillionaires through poker.
Right.
That we literally went out to a Ruth Chris in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yum.
The bill was in excess of $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that picked the tab up left a $50 bill.
Oh, ouch. Was it bad service? Was he making a statement?
No.
Or? No, he was just cheap.
He just $50 was all he thought he should put. So me and two of my buddies had to go back in, and we ended up leaving right at $300.
So if this were now, would you take a photo of that tab and put it on the internet and say, hey, look at this guy. He only...
I wouldn't,
Right.
because I went to him and said, what are you doing, jerk? Oh, what do you mean? $50 was plenty. I mean, we're only in there an hour and a half. They should be happy to make it $50 an hour.
So did you pony up the other 50?
Yeah, we did. We threw it. We actually ended up tipping the server $300
Very nice.
on a it was a little over $1,000.
Because let me tell you something. Serving, hard work.
I did it. I know. You did.
I did it. I
You
know. Hard work.
Exactly.
Very hard work.
But
And you find out what people are really made of, by the way, when you wait on them.
Oh yeah, you
for
certainly
situations
do.
like exactly what you just
I
described.
got fired from a national chain when I was 19 years old because a guy left me on a $77.87 check, left me $78.
Oh,
and
and so keep the change.
You know me. I'm way reserved now compared to when I was 19.
Oh,
I went out in the
God, I can't
parking lot.
imagine.
I went out in the parking lot and we had a discussion.
Can you imagine him at 19, JJ? It's a little scary.
We had a discussion about why 13 cent wasn't a good enough tip.
A discussion that did not involve words.
No, and then I walked back in and the manager said, you're fired. And then I probably could have got an assault charge then too.
It's like that Sting lyric, when you find your servant is your master. When you wait on somebody, you really find out what they're all about. It's amazing.
Speaking of what people are all about, bullying, big topic, big hot button issue in the world today, bullying.
Sadly.
Take it from somebody who, believe it, I know you're going to find this hard to believe. I was a bully.
I would have guessed you were a defender.
No, not
you
until
were
I got
bullying.
to high school.
Okay.
Not until I was a big kid that was always much bigger than everybody in my class.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of them making fun of me, I'd just beat them up and then they would make fun of me. It wasn't until I got to high school and grew into my body and became a football player on the high school team and found out that people actually could like me if I'd stopped being an idiot, that I stopped being an idiot.
Except when the guy only tipped you 13 cents.
But no, I still have idiot moments to this day. Ask your father. He talks to me all the time about sometimes you got to stop being an idiot. It's just one of those.
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
It's one of those things. So, but a New Hampshire school district is taking a stand to stop bullying by outlawing a playground staple, a staple of playground games.
Oh, no.
I
Don't
know.
tell me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And,
I think I can guess what it is, and I'm kind of not happy about that.
Tax season's upon us. Time to do your taxes. I have a list of surprising facts about your taxes that you may not know. Then, of course, it's healthy living with you. You're here today.
Moi.
Healthy living. And I got some questions about eyes and way to strengthen them with food.
I'll see if I can help you with that.
Exactly. And I'm sure you have a great healthy living segment planned without me helping you because you're healthy living. I'm not. So, and we're going to have some pop culture in there, too, because the Mindy Project's just great.
Oh, Are you loving it or what?
The episode this week.
Give me some fist bumps.
The episode this week with his friend that was getting the Vicodin from him. It was just
so
great.
funny.
It was very funny.
Very good.
We got to get JJ watching that shit.
I know.
We got to.
I might have to tie him to a chair and go Clockwork Orange on him, but
that's a great movie, by the way.
Could make him watch it.
Now, while Buddy's not here today, we still have a great guest in the Sports Hour today as NFL Hall of Famer Fran Tarkington
Nice.
will be joining us for Buddy's Sports Page. We'll also discuss the NCAA tournament as it starts back up today with the Sweet 16. And the Atlanta Falcons signed a big-time pass rusher today. JJ and I will discuss that signing, plus the people that are still available in free agency. Plus opening day in baseball Sunday, JJ.
Woo-hoo.
Braves ready to take it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe Braves team to beat in the National League. But it's also Gator Talk Thursday. Franz Beard will join us. That's brought to you by Country Club of Ocala. He'll discuss Friday night's game between the University of Florida and Florida Gulf Coast University. So unless you've been dead or under a rock,
FGCU.
you know who FGCU is.
For those in the know.
Our own Tom James going out to the Sweet 16 to cover that game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm a little upset. He didn't invite me.
Aw.
Plus, we got tweets and quotes, all that coming up.
And my exciting news.
Oh, yeah, and Laura's exciting news, which was very exciting. Your face is getting flush every time you talk about it.
I'm so excited.
I know. There you go. Plus tweets and quotes as well on the Voice of Ocala. So stay tuned to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala and Bellevue. Prestige, it's all there in our name.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Hello, this is Dr. Riyad Fakuri, chiropractic orthopedist at the Fakuri Medical and Chiropractic Center. Listen in to the Head to Toe Care Show every Wednesday, 11 a.m. right here on WOCA. Learn how your body works so that you can help yourself. We're available to answer your questions every Wednesday at 11 a.m. on WOCA, The Source. That's Dr. Riyad Fakuri on the Head to Toe Care Show every Wednesday, 11 a.m. right here on WOCA, The Source.
Call me crazy. Some people say insanity is doing the same thing over and over expecting a different result. I think insanity is 1,000 single-sided full-color business cards for $15 or packing service for 50% off. Call me crazy. Regency Printing on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Look for the yellow signs.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.7 FM, The Source.
Hi, I'm Russ with Climate Control Mechanical Services, and I want to invite you to tune in every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. to listen for tips and answers to the many questions you may have about your air conditioning and heating for your home or business. The Climate Control Show, every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. right here on WOCA 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM, The Source.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, joined by Lloyd Martin Gregory on this beautiful spring Thursday. Wonderful outside, sun high in the sky in beautiful Ocala, Florida. Buddy Martin taking advantage of the long weekend, adding an extra day to it. Him and Miss Joni. I think they're just lounging around. Got Rennie with them. I don't know what they're doing. You know, who knows what the Martins do when they're not in it, when he's not in the studio. Oh wait. Whatever Miss Joni wants him to do, that's what he does.
If he's having a good day.
Yeah, if he's having a good day. So, in the opening of the show, we discussed UFOs, Lord. JJ, I want you to enter into this discussion, too. I'm going to be honest. I think it's arrogant of us as humans to believe that there isn't extraterrestrial intelligent life forms in the galaxy. That the galaxy we have, with all the planets we have, and so much out there in space, and that all that vast area, the only intelligent living people are on Earth. I find that very hard to believe. Lori, your thoughts?
I mean, of course. They walk among us, let's just put it that way, in my opinion.
So you believe
there's aliens walking around?
So you
They
believe
walk
Men in
among
Black.
us.
You believe
You're
Men in Black.
crazy.
No, they
You
walk
You're
among
crazy.
us.
So you believe Men in Black.
Well, I don't know if it looks that way,
I
but
think you're crazy.
I think it would be exceptionally arrogant for us to think that there is no other intelligent source that's smart enough to come here and peacefully
And just look like
be
Infiltrate
here
us.
and, do whatever they're here to do, observe or whatever.
So JJ, you don't
There's
think
too
there's,
I
much-
think aliens probably exist somewhere, but not here.
but just not here.
no
well,
way.
what would stop them from being here?
They
if
just
they
look
exist,
like us.
well, maybe they have the ability to cloak or camouflage.
Chameleons,
or
chameleons. We have
we have
a living
They just
thing.
know how to speak the language.
Well, we have a living being. We have a living creature on Earth, the chameleon, that can make itself look like tree bark, can
So
make itself
what?
look like reeds. you know?
Sure.
So how did they get here?
Well, according to J. Edgar Hoover, they
according to a
came
memo-
in spaceships.
See, JJ's got the great segues.
No.
Look at him. According
Y'all
to
are
a memo,
just insane.
the Federal Bureau of Investigation, well, you can call the FBI insane. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, according to this Yahoo story, this is from Dylan Stableford of Yahoo News. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has broken its silence on the most popular file in its digital vault. The one-page memo dated March 22nd, 1950 was addressed to FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover from Guy Hotel, the head of the FBI's Washington, D.C. field office. The subject, flying saucers. An investigation for the Air Force stated that 3 so-called flying saucers have been recovered in New Mexico, Hotel wrote to J. Edgar Hoover. They were described as being circular in shape with raised centers approximately 50 feet in diameter. Each one was occupied by 3 bodies of human shape but only 3 foot tall, dressed in metallic cloth of very fine texture. Each body was bandaged in a manner similar to blackout suits used by test pilots. This file, first released in April of 2011 under the Freedom of Information Act, has been viewed by over 1 million times on the internet And the FBI says in part because media outlets erroneously reported the FBI had posted proof of a UFO crash in Roswell, New Mexico. This was written 3 years after that.
I wish we could prove this definitively, because it would be the most impactful catalyst to world peace among humans.
Because it would be something that
Because
would
all
bring
of a
us together.
sudden we would realize that we all have so much more in common in the grand scheme of things than we realize. It would be the great unifier to validate the existence of extraterrestrials.
Well, I know some people are out there saying, yeah, this is just some hack job writing a memo that got on J. Edgar Hoover's desk. It's not a hack job. This was the field office director. He was the director of the field office of Washington, D.C.
So why are they releasing it now is the question.
Because it finally came to where it reached that period where it was declassified. And nobody in the FBI reclassified. Because you can reclassify stuff so it never...
What are
they've done
the
that with the Kennedy papers.
What are the statistics? JJ, what does it say online about what percentage of Americans believe in other life forms from
I
other
would believe
planets?
that's probably pretty high.
Well, I'm guessing it's probably higher than it's been. But I'm curious if it's the majority, if it's like 55% or 85%.
My problem with this whole story is the description of the spaceships and the people in them.
Because it sounds like a
Perfectly circular with a raised
Twilight Zone
with a
episode.
raised middle, and they were 3 feet tall in metallic suits, which reminds me exactly of everything that's ever come out of Central Casting.
So maybe it was a movie set that they left in the desert and somebody...
Okay, well, Fox News on June of last year said a new survey finds that 80 million Americans, or 36% of the population, believe UFOs are real.
How much? What
A
percent?
third.
A third, okay.
So 1 in 10 respondents say they have personally witnessed an alien spaceship.
Without the
And
adult
if aliens were
beverages
able
or
to
with?
invade the country sometime in the next 4 years, 65% of the survey respondents said President Obama would be better suited for handling the invasion than candidate Mitt Romney. This is obviously a year ago.
Well, whew, on that
Oh
one,
my
at least we
God.
got the
Well,
right
at least
guy.
we got the
in
right
there.
guy in there now, so he can
So
handle an
he-
alien.
I mean, we-
1 in 10 people say they personally witnessed an alien spaceship that they knew was an alien spaceship. Give me a break.
No, yeah, but now
They could have asked it as any type of unidentified flying object. Have you seen that at all? Have you
I've
seen
seen it-
anything in the sky?
because let's
that
be
you
honest,
didn't know?
we've
Yeah,
all
we
seen
did in Ocala.
unidentified flying objects.
Last week when they had the helicopters over here.
Yeah, we didn't know what they were. They were unidentified to us.
Well, we knew they were helicopters, but, the meteor showers that have been popping up
Maybe
around
that was
the
an alien
planet,
invasion.
At least we're starting to realize that there are forces at work beyond the planet Earth that can affect us. So whether you believe in aliens or don't believe in aliens, just having meteor sightings on YouTube that are quite impressive. I mean, the meteor showers we saw in Russia and, various parts of the Ukraine on YouTube.
They didn't think it was very
They weren't
awesome.
tiny. They
No.
were significant.
They were significant.
So at least the awareness beyond planet Earth is starting to expand amongst our population.
Do we have a caller who wants to talk about this, JD? Who do we have? Pete. Pete, how are you today?
Fine, thank you, Tom. Good show today. Good show.
So, what, Pete? This memo. There's a one-page memo by the FBI.
Thank you,
from
Pete.
the FBI director of the field office director from the Washington D.C. office sends this to J. Edgar Hoover, and he describes in detail circular ships with raised middles, people 3 foot tall in metallic suits inside of them. How much credence do you put in this FBI memo?
Well, not very much, Tom, but I'm not sure about the what do they call that in the antique business, the provenance of that memo. But a lot of things can be reported. That doesn't mean that they actually happened.
Certainly, and that's what the FBI says. The FBI is saying that this is simply a second or third hand claim that we never deemed necessary to investigate because it just didn't seem relevant or credible.
I'd like to address something that Miss Laurie said, though, if I may.
Okay.
She mentioned that if the aliens came, that it would unite the Earthlings.
All right.
And I looking back on history, I don't think I can agree with that, because I can show you two examples. When the Aztec Empire encountered the Europeans, they immediately split into factions, and when the Inca Empire encountered the Europeans, they immediately split into factions, and they were played off against each other. And that's the closest thing we have to an alien encounter in this, in our culture, in our history, because those were two societies that were completely foreign to each other. And I'm not sure that if aliens did come, I'm not so sure that we wouldn't split into factions. There'd be like the people that wanted to collaborate with the aliens and the people that wanted to fight them, and then we'd be at each other. I'm not so sure it would be a happy ending, but I just wanted to say that, and I'll hang up now. Thank you, Tom.
All right. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
I understand the parallel he's drawing, because to the Aztecs and to the Incas and to the Europeans, it was like an alien invasion, because the Aztecs didn't know anything existed except them. Mm-hmm. Because the world was a vast, back then with, sailing ships, the world was not as in touch as we are now. Now we know within seconds what's going on in China if we want to.
Well, can you imagine if this discovery is legit? Let's say it really was a discovery and it really happened. Imagine that today, with field agents out there with their cell phones and taking pics, and it would be on Twitter in 30 seconds. I mean, it would be a completely different experience. So, the fact that they say it wasn't worth investigating says to me either they did investigate it and it's completely covered up, or there was just nothing to it. So, will we ever know? I don't know.
I don't know if we'll know either.
I think that's one of those things you have to just decide in your gut. What do I believe? What does my gut tell me?
JJ believes that there are aliens, but that they're not walking around the face of the earth. I believe that there are aliens, and who knows whether they're walking around the face of the earth. And Lori says they're definitely amongst us, and we just have to deal with that.
I've known too many weird people. I know they definitely walk among us. I could give you names.
So leaving that alone. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss the possibility of internet fraud of feel-good stories to see if restaurants are doing it as an advertising gimmick or if these stories really ring true. We'll talk about that next on the Voice of Ocala on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life, from everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and a coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444. Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little bit of something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none, and we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, Proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 6th for the Francis Marion Military Academy Spring Fling at the Ocala Shrine Club on Mary Camp Road. Join the first annual Swamp Fox Chili Cook-Off and Classic Car Show. Take a chance on winning one of 5 different late model vehicles for the unbelievably low price of just $20 per ticket. Only 5,000 tickets will be sold. The proceeds benefit the Francis Marion Military Academy. Businesses, organizations, and talented individuals are invited to show off their cooking skills and to compete for the best tasting chili. Go to swampfoxevents.com for the registration directions to the Shrine Club, Car Show, Chili Cook-Off. Join our sponsors in supporting the Academy. Remember, that's Saturday, April 6th for the Francis Marion Military Academy Spring Fling at the Ocala Shrine Club on Mary Camp Road. The first annual Swamp Fox Chili Cook-Off and Classic Car Show. For more information, call Charlie at 843-7790. That's 843-7790. 843-7790. Or visit swampfoxevents.com.
The sound of the bat cracking, the crowd cheering, the smell of overpriced but tasty hot dogs, the memories that will last a lifetime of your first baseball game with Little Johnny. Your team wins. It was a great night until you get home. It's 9 p.m. and your wife says you have no water.
We have no water.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Rule number 1, don't panic. Remain calm. Okay, that's 2 rules.
We don't have time for jokes, funny man.
Okay, think back. On the way home, you heard a radio commercial.
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Eureka! You saved the day. You remembered that Mike Scott Plumbing doesn't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. You are a genius.
Hey, Mr. Genius, did you remember the phone number?
Of course you did. Remember, you're a genius. 352-237-2888. Because at Mike Scott Plumbing, if water runs through it, we do it. Even if water's not running through it at this particular moment. Mike Scott Plumbing.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000, 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
This is Tom Schmitz live in the WOCA studios with this news break brought to you by the Gateway Bank. It's Easter Party in the Park, Tusquilla Park this Saturday at 10 a.m., sponsored by the City of Ocala and Ocala-based Signature Brands. The Paws Extravaganza, like I said, begins at 10 a.m. with egg hunts for various age groups starting at 10:30. About 6,000 people are scheduled to show up, with 3,000 to 4,000 children participating in the egg hunts, said Irie Bethea of the City of Ocala. While the city conducts the egg hunt, Signature Brand sponsors all of the activities and provides the free goodies given away at the park, including the 25,000 plastic eggs used in the egg hunt. This news break was brought to you by the Gateway Bank, your new old-fashioned bank. Join Buddy every Friday for Community Gazette Day at Gateway Bank.
Each one she passes goes, ooh, but I watch her so sadly. How can I tell her I love?
We're back on the Voice of Ocala. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. Buddy Martin not with us today or tomorrow. He's taking a long vacation weekend for Easter holidays. It is Good Friday tomorrow. Easter Sunday, this Sunday. Not really an Easter person, Lori. It's the weekend my father passed away. So I don't really do Easter. He passed away under less than stellar circumstances at the hands of some youth in Jacksonville. So I don't really do Easter.
Well, Easter's a different day every year, though. So
but I
what
associate
day
the weekend.
Because it was Easter weekend that weekend?
It was that weekend. It was April 12th, but I associate it with
How can we
Easter
break
weekend.
that for you? How can we heal
He was attacked on Good Friday and passed away Easter Sunday.
Oh.
And here's the problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Easter, my dad's favorite holiday.
Interesting.
So
well, he chose then to make
right.
his transition.
But that's the thing. So that, it's not a big holiday for me, but I do understand it's a huge holiday. I mean, 4,000 children are going to show up at Tusquilla Park Saturday.
That's cool.
For an Easter egg hunt. 25,000 eggs.
Whoa.
I want no part of 25,000 eggs.
No. That's a lot.
Xander not taking in the festivities at Tusquilla, will he?
Probably not, but that's because he'll be doing other festivities, and he's really into it this year.
Good for him.
He's really, I mean, he told me this morning, Mommy, he woke up while he was still in bed, said, how many more days till Easter? And I said, 3. He said, I'm just going to go back to sleep until Easter morning. Not even interested in what's going to happen.
Do that?
I know. And he laid down and closed his eyes. He said, I'm going back to sleep until Easter morning. I want nothing to do with Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
I'm Rip Van Winkling until Sunday morning.
Correct.
Do you use your debit card or your credit card or cash when you go to a restaurant to eat?
I don't even hardly know which presidents are on which bills
so you've
anymore.
Transformed into a pure plastic. You're not a cash
debit. I like debit,
but still,
because then I can see where all my money is being spent. So if I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong. So look away. I mean, go right ahead. Look all you want. There's no crime here. But I like being able to track it, and if I spend cash, I don't know what I spent my money on.
So do you? When you do your debit card, you typically, because you were a server.
Yes, I was.
You worked the restaurant business.
I did.
As every struggling actor and musician has done.
The high end and the low end.
Right.
Yes.
I myself have worked fine dining, banquet style restauranting, all the way through
diners.
I've worked for
in
some
New
fast
York.
food joints. I've done it all.
Me too.
And let's be honest, tips are the way people make their money, and comps are the way restaurants keep customers happy.
Correct.
And when we say tips, sometimes people, won't tip enough, and sometimes when you have bad service, or you have a food item that comes out of the kitchen not the way you would like it, the only thing that gets you going back to that restaurant, a return visit, is because the manager came over and said, what can I do to make this okay? And usually that entails comping the meal.
And the server's a part of that equation as well, usually, yes.
Well, Olive Garden did the same thing. They comped the person's meal, but they did it for different reasons. It was a heartwarming reason, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Right. The man put this on Reddit. He said, my brother, wife, 3-year-old daughter, and I went to Olive Garden after a recent house fire at my parents'. When the manager asked how everything was, my daughter blurted out, Grandpa's house burned down. He has nothing. We had to give him all we had. And so when he got the check, here's what happened. Everything was comped, and the total balance due was 0. And, the guy said it was a great experience at Olive Garden, and he would go back. A few people responded with kudos for the restaurant manager, but most were skeptical. First off, the receipt that they put up on Reddit says duplicate receipt, store ordered.
That would be a red flag.
Is this an indication it was a copied receipt?
I smell a PR person.
Yeah. Is this a copied receipt that maybe the manager posting this? And also, the Olive Garden logo was perfectly placed, symmetrically placed perfectly right next to the receipt. If you're looking at it, you can see how they put the receipt, the credit card, the cover, the thing they bring your bill to you in, perfectly, so you can see the name Olive Garden really clear. And so a lot of people are saying that it may be Gray Worldwide, which is Olive Garden's advertising agency.
That's what I'm thinking.
Somebody probably thought this idea up last week, did some data analysis to see the perfect time to get up votes, and then probably had a bunch of their own employees give it up votes.
But does that make it less altruistic because they're talking about it?
But if it didn't happen...
Well, I don't know that it necessarily is saying that it didn't happen. It just looks gratuitous. It looks self-serving. I mean, it's very likely that it did happen.
But that the person that happened to didn't post it.
Correct.
The restaurant
They just got permission from the people to whom it happened
so it's sort of like
to retell the story.
So they were sort of like patting their own selves on the back.
Of course. Listen, all Fortune 500 companies now have a division of their marketing and PR, either agencies or in-house departments that specifically do social media. They are constantly trolling for things like this that they can throw up on the various social media platforms that exist now.
And this was on Reddit.
This was on Reddit to show a human angle to their corporation, to create a feel-good story that's going to inspire people to patron their businesses.
But isn't that
Does it make it
at its base fraud?
Well, it's fraud if it didn't really happen.
But it didn't really happen the way they're doing it, because they're saying that Reddit, this was posted under the guise of it was the person that happened to posting it.
But it is quite possible that the person to whom it happened
Gave permission
and said, yeah, I don't know about that social media stuff. I don't know how to do it. But yes, by all means, you may take the story and use it. And yes, I'll sign the waiver. It is possible. So then does it matter who actually keystroked the posting? Does that matter? I mean, it doesn't matter to me if the person to whom this event happened, I'm the family for whom the meal was comped. I don't know how to even do the social media thing, but yes, I'll give you permission to use my story and say it as if I said it.
But to me, that sounds like, I would either give you a compliment, speak a compliment, or I wouldn't give you a compliment, but I would never give you permission to say that I gave you a compliment.
You're not a Fortune 500 company, honey. JJ?
No.
How do you weigh in on this?
No, but what I'm saying is, even if it was a Fortune
Valid,
500
not
company,
valid.
even if it was a Fortune 500 company, if I was the patron that got comped,
right,
I would say, if I wanted to say kudos, I would say kudos, but I would never give somebody permission to speak for me. And that's what happened here.
You might if
maybe.
they comped your meal and you've had a really good feeling about the company.
No,
and you were, well, okay. Well, you're a tougher customer than most.
I just, either I'm going to say something good about you, or I'm not going to say something good about
Right.
you. I'm not going to give you permission to write your own
I recently,
epilogue.
like 3 weeks ago, had a really nice thing happen to me from a business, a high-end business, that really shocked me. They went out of their way to custom make something for me at no charge.
Wow.
And then when they shipped back to me my original item that was being repaired, along with this really nice
Custom item.
piece of jewelry that they completely comped for me for the trouble, I was so inspired. I sat down to my computer. This is a business in California. And I wrote a letter to the local newspaper saying, I know that this business sometimes gets a bad rap because it's a high-end company.
Right.
But look what they just did. And I was so moved by that. But, a lot of people aren't going to take the time to actually sit down and write the letter or tweet or, post on. But if a company
Comes to you and says, do you mind if we
sure.
do this?
I mean, if the company had come to me and said, hey, we're so glad you appreciate it, would you mind if we use your story? I would have said absolutely, because I had such warm fuzzies about what they did for
Right.
me. So if you're the person for whom the favor has occurred, you might feel differently. So that's why I would say,
Quite possibly. I don't think I would, but I understand where you're coming from.
yeah. But it is, I think it's, what's interesting is who are going to be like the Snopes.com or the, Drudge Report, the people out there that are going to follow up on these things.
And try to figure out
and
the
try
truth.
to, figure out who's the fraud and who's the legit. Because there are some companies that are manufacturing stories like this.
Well, of course there are, and that's what gets me. And I know a little something about Darden, by the way, the company that owns Olive Garden.
Uh-huh.
And believe me, they would fabricate some things.
So you're already suspect.
I know some things about Darden. I worked for Darden for a while. I know some things.
Okay, so then that might be
Although they
tainting
may
your
have,
point of view.
By the way, Darden may have changed since 15 years ago when I worked for him, by the way.
Could be.
But, once a skunk, always a skunk. But that's just my opinion.
Social media, slippery slope. I mean, if you're a company and you're using this platform, you gotta be legit, or you could really end up with egg on your face.
You really could. When we come back, tweets and quotes, we'll give you those when we come back. And plus, if we have time this hour, we'll talk about bullying. But if not, we'll definitely get it in the next hour, because seems the playground's not going to be near as fun anymore in New Hampshire.
And my good news.
And your good news.
Yeah.
Lori has great news. We'll talk about all that next on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976.
Trespassing wild animal. Can I shoot it?
Well, I think it's probably going to depend on what kind of wild animal it is, but, I just hope it's not the neighbor's next door dog. So
Yeah, that won't work
let's
out
be
too well.
careful with that. But, you got coyotes out there, so I have no issues with that, and I think you got to protect yourself.
You don't have that much of an issue, Greg, because you don't have that many animals in the city, but
Now, every now and then you'll get a bear or something will migrate in the city and end up in a tree somewhere. But, my big thing is before you shoot something, make sure you know what you're shooting.
In Clark, we trust.
Hi, this is Clark Howard. I'm so excited to be on in Ocala, where I visit twice a year because I have relatives in Ocala, and it's great that my show is on every evening at 6 p.m. right here on WOCA, The Source.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Marie Collier. She worked at Nintendo as a game player, and she's written a book. It's called Earthbound, a science fiction adventure novel.
Open for debate where you get to choose the topic.
And then Winging It with Brad Bursma and Josh Furdock. They come in from Ocala Aviation Flight School to tell you what it takes to become a pilot.
Mady Schreshengost is an award-winning children's author. She will be speaking about two of her books, Voice Wizardry and Writing Wizardry, and she will also be featured at the 2013 Book Feast on April the 13th.
And then Ocala Magazine Radio with your host, John Sotomayor.
Pastor Junior D'Souza is a certified biblical counselor, and Randy Doremus is the CEO of Gateway to Hope Ministries. They'll be in the studio speaking about 5 bad rules you must always break.
And then Laura Petherbridge is going to be with us. She's an inspirational speaker, a divorce care expert. Her books are The Smart Stepmom and When I Do Becomes I Don't. All of that plus Fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
In Clark, we trust.
Hi, this is Clark Howard. Join me every weeknight at 6 right here on WOCA 1370, The Source.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Even when men and women have identical thermometer readings, the extra temperature receptors in men mean they'll feel hotter, which also means they experience more aches and pains. If your supervisor is micromanaging every single thing you do, experts say this is a classic sign they don't trust you to get the job done. Which is worse, drinking alcohol before bed or coffee before bed? Both are gonna mess with your sleep, but in opposite ways.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hello? Can you hear me? Because if you can, then so can your customers. Radio works. Call today to advertise your business right here on WOCA 1370, The Source.
Keeping you in touch with Ocala. WOCA.
Use your mentality. Wake up to reality. But each time I do just the thought.
Oh, are we back? Singing Frank Sinatra. It's the Voice of Ocala. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, Buddy Martin. Off on a extended weekend for the Easter weekend. I'm joined by Lori Martin Gregory, JJ LaSalva, Sean Frazier, the intern. Down
The
goes
amazing
Frazier.
Sean Frazier.
He keeps the social media going, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
It's time for tweets and quotes. JJ, a little tweets and quotes music for me. I like that. We'll go with that one. Wanting to be someone else is a waste of the person you are. Kurt Cobain. Then this one from Sally Markham. She's a 5th grader at a school in New Hampshire. Dear Matt, Please grow up and solve your own problems. I'm tired of solving them for you. This quote from Ellen DeGeneres. They say that love is more important than money. But have you ever tried to pay your bills with a hug? And finally, PD East, whoever that is, love your enemy. It makes them so damn mad. Buddy had been giving us so many heavy, thought-provoking tweets and quotes. I thought I'd go with a few humorous ones. I really like that one, though, from the 5th grader from New Hampshire. Dear math, please grow up and solve your own problems. I'm tired of doing it for you.
So funny.
And if we've all been in the 5th grade and we've all done long division, and we all are so agreeing with her.
Agonized.
We do. JJ, you were a good division guy, though, weren't you? Long division, huge. Big fan. Big fan.
Did you hear about the little girl that was drawing in art class? The teacher said, "What are you drawing?" And she said, "I'm drawing God." And the teacher said, "We don't know what God looks like."
Yes.
And the little girl said, "Well, you will in a minute."
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we're going to take next hour. It's Healthy Living with OU. That's right.
Oh,
Lori
right.
Martin Gregory. But before we get to that, I have some things I got to tell you about your taxes. Plus, I want to tell you about this playground game that has been outlawed in the New Hampshire School District because it promotes bullying. Plus, we'll have pop culture, all that in the next hour with Lori Martin Gregory on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
She grew up in an Indiana town, had a good-looking mama who never was around, but she grew up tall and she grew up right with them Indiana boys on an Indiana night.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the Voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA The Source.
Relations got you down. Are you at your wit's end? Does the opposite sex just confuse you? Then I've got the solution for you, Dr. Buddy.
Well, let me just tell you what you slugs are doing wrong. Remember, dummy, it's about the chase and the romantic interludes, okay? Now, here's the difference. Instead of dinner and a movie, which seems obsolete these days, they have this random phone text, Facebook post, instant message, and quote-unquote non-dates. Traditional courtship, which is still what women want, guys. Picking up a telephone, asking someone on a date, maybe even going as far to pick them up in your car, requires courage, strategic planning, and a considerable investment in ego.
So now you know where to tune in to get all your relationship advice. It's the Dr. Buddy Show every Monday on the Voice of Ocala. You can succeed only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
WOCA, Ocala.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine featuring local businesses and issues and written by local volunteers. Lady Lake Magazine has become a must-read in Marion, Lake, and Sumter counties, audited by Circulation Verification Council and serving the area for 23 years. Plus, Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. All we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 352-804-1223 and pick up your copy of Lady Lake Magazine today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Are you still fertilizing flowers and vegetables the old-fashioned way?
Then switch to Dynamite. Dynamite Complete Plant Food. The secret to more flowers, bigger blooms, and more vegetables is consistent feeding. Dynamite Complete Plant Food has a unique protective coating that releases nutrition consistently, so there are no highs and lows. Dynamite is complete nutrition. It contains the micronutrients plants need in small quantities for maximum growth. With Dynamite, you get an explosion of color, flowers, and vegetables. Dynamite comes in a handy shake and feed plastic bottle. Just one application will last up to 6 months. For more flowers, bigger blooms, and more vegetables, try Dynamite today. Visit our website and learn more about the science behind the modern, long-lasting way to feed your flowers and vegetables at DynamitePlantFood.com. Dynamite Complete Plant Food.
Howdy, I want to invite you to Dairy Queen for a great deal and a great meal. Right now, Dairy Queen is offering a hot, juicy quarter-pound cheeseburger meal, including the quarter pounder with cheese, a fry, and a medium drink for only $4.99. And you can add a sundae for only $1. So if you love real grill cooked burgers cooked fresh to order, come get a great meal for only $4.99 at Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where they always treat you like kings and queens.
1370 WOCA.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Is getting even more expensive before you factor in tuition. Congressional leaders say unless they act quickly, incoming freshmen could pay $5,000 more next year for the same loans their older siblings have. Interest is set to double on July 1st. The TSA says it's heard the protests, but it's going ahead with the plan to end a ban on small knife blades. Flight attendants say it puts security at risk. We've made some major strides professionally and financially, but almost half of American women are worried that they're going to become bag ladies. A poll by Alliance Life Insurance says the fear exists even among women who make six-figure salaries, especially if they're single, widowed, or divorced. With recent battles over school funding, performance evaluations, and tenure, some think teaching profession may not make the grade. Tell a teacher that. The Gallup Healthways Wellbeing Index says educators ranked only second to doctors when it comes to job satisfaction. This is ABC News.
From painting to mowing the grass to vacuuming, you'll spend hours maintaining your home. Here's one task to check off your to-do list: changing smoke alarm batteries. Replace your older alarms with new Kidde worry-free smoke alarms. The sealed-in lithium battery lasts 10 years, the recommended life of an alarm. No more searching for a battery and no more low battery chirps. Head to the Home Depot and check that box for a decade with Kidde worry-free smoke alarms. Kidde, technology that saves lives.
Geico says, let's make life simpler.
You need to buy something, but you don't want to make a mistake. So what do? Scour the web? Collect sales circulars? Ask your brother-in-law? How about this? When it comes to car insurance, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. I repeat, 97%. So make it simple. Just ask a friend who has Geico. Then click or call. You could make it 98%.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, you know? I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, you know? Like some editing, transition, something, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei. It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah! You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
We're back for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala on a beautiful Thursday afternoon from the Brick City. Nice spring day. It's about time for a spring day. It got hot there for a few days. It's been unseasonably cold the last couple of nights. Of course, JJ believes this studio is the coldest place on the face of the earth every day. Buddy Martin not with us today. He's taking an extended weekend for the Easter holiday, for the Easter break. I'm joined, though, by a capable host of the show, co-hosting with me today, Lori Martin Gregory. Not only is she doing her healthy living duty, she's also helping with the show. Lori, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Nice to be here.
So in the first hour, we discussed UFOs. Now in the second hour, we're gonna discuss bozos.
Some people think they're the same.
Well, the red hair and the big shoes may have had something to do with it. There's a New Hampshire. JJ pointed this story out to me yesterday, and I said I have to go read this story because JJ was like, "Did you see this?" And he didn't give me his opinion on it, but he just asked me if I saw the story. This is Cameron Smith. He writes for Pep Rally, which is part of Yahoo Sports. He says, in the latest episode of an overactive school board making an overtly political correct move, a New Hampshire school district has banned the game of dodgeball for fears that it reinforces and leads to bullying.
What?
It was, the school board voted 4-1 to outlaw dodgeball and 9 other human target activities. First off, I didn't know there were 9 other human.
Yeah, what are the 9?
That's
what are was it lawn darts or something?
Because it was
with the
concerned.
kids?
It was concerned that the traditional game was reinforcing the exact behaviors the school district was trying to eliminate in its students, mainly bullying. This is what the superintendent said. Dr. Henley LeBranch of the Wyndham School District said, we spend a lot of time making sure our kids are violence-free. Here we have games where we use children as targets. That seems to be counter to what we're trying to accomplish with our anti-bullying campaign. So hold on. He thinks dodgeball's a violent game?
I would be more curious about the way who's holding the boundaries for how they're playing the game. And you could argue that yes, dodgeball could be a bullying sport depending on the attitude and the emotion with which the kids are playing the game. But isn't that up to the people in charge to regulate?
Isn't that part of the job of the school to regulate?
If you play it unfairly or cruelly, you'll be ousted and everyone else gets to still play.
And, I know I understand what some people are saying because back in the day, when I was in elementary school, to my knowledge, they don't do this practice anymore. When I was back then, some PE teachers would, instead of doing their job and picking the teams, would allow 2 children to pick the teams.
Right.
And so some teams would have a lot of athletes on it, some teams wouldn't. And then it would turn into a free-for-all where one team was in a bad way compared to the other team, and then it would just be
stacked.
And I can understand that, but if a teacher is doing their job, physical education instructors doing their job.
Can you not find a way to equitably play dodgeball? Do we need someone from the UN maybe to go up there and sort out this situation? What are the other 9 human target sports that kids are playing?
They did not say in this. They just said
I can't even think of 2 others. What would they possibly?
Kickball.
That's not a target, though.
Yes, it is, because to get them out, you throw the ball at them.
Oh, for kickball. Okay. All right, there's one.
So
you got 8
volleyball, because I'm targeting I'm trying to smash the ball down on somebody so they can't return it. But
you're trying to target the ground, aren't
I know.
you?
I don't understand what the games would be. You got me.
I have no other.
Let's ask somebody that's a little younger than we are. That's, he's been in this politically correct school of how they're trying to change everything. JJ, you brought this story to my attention yesterday.
Well, I never went to school that was very anti-bullying. That wasn't really a big deal when I was in school still. The anti-bullying thing kind of started recently.
Kids were getting bullied, right?
But who cares?
Yeah, who cares? So, but can you...
What do you mean, who cares?
Well, at the time. Time.
Everybody got bullied. Everybody did some bullying. That's how kids grow up. And dodgeball... I mean, I don't understand. Were they singling someone out in dodgeball? Get better.
I don't know. The joke.
That's like saying in basketball, when you played basketball PE, if this kid stunk, you would take it to the lane on him every time.
Yeah, because
So
you
what?
knew he
Are you
stunk.
bullying him? No.
Well, the thing is, and I use this expression a lot, and I'm a little on the overweight side, so I can use this expression. So don't get on me, Lori. But I always say I'm out like a fat kid in dodgeball.
Oh, okay.
And maybe that does lend some. When you think of it in that realm, maybe there is that there.
Well, bullying can exist in any situation.
It exists in adult
any
life.
situation, and it is good that there has been attention brought to it because, all of us have our strengths and all of us have our weaknesses, and some of us are better in art class, and others are better at PE, and others are better in music, and others are better in math, and that's okay. But part of sort of the awkwardness of growing up is that at some point in one of those subjects, you're not going to be the superstar. And so the potential for being bullied is not just, I don't know. It feels extreme that they would eliminate dodgeball and that somehow is going to solve the problem. It's just going to pop up somewhere else.
Well, the Wyndham School District says it increases violence and antisocial behavior as a result of the game. That's putting a lot of.
Do all the kids have to play?
But to say that it increases violence and antisocial behavior,
Yeah, you had
that
to play.
one game.
You had to play?
Well,
Yeah, it was participation
when
in
you were
PE.
in PE, you played.
But isn't this
You
on
had
the
to play.
in elementary school? It's
this
like
isn't recess. This
is in recess.
No, this is PE.
Oh, okay.
They've outlawed it in PE. I don't think they would let them play it in recess either. But this is in the PE classes.
Okay, well,
But-
I still think part of learning and growing up is being in
To get hit by
situations.
dodgeballs. It's like,
But do you really believe? I mean, how can they say it increases violence and antisocial behavior by playing dodgeball?
I think dodgeball takes out some violence out of the kids. You know what I'm saying?
How does
they,
it-
they
it
wouldn't
takes-
want to get in fights as much after you get to peg somebody with a ball. You know, all that built-up anger gets to be taken.
But that plays right into what they're saying. It is a game.
You
for
know what it
bullies.
was? Forget it. You know what it was? Something happened. There was an incident.
And
a parent got
complained.
angry.
Exactly.
That's what happened. And
That's
obviously,
exactly what
this
happened.
parent has some sway, and they had to do something to appease the parent. So they killed
That is
dodgeball.
exactly
The day dodgeball
what happened.
died. That's what happened.
But to say that there are 9 other targeted sports.
I'd like
People
to.
targeted
I'd
sports.
like to know. Can we get them on the phone? Let's
To
call them up and
me,
ask them.
to me, this sounds just like I had a teacher one time. True story. 4th grade, Miss Hunter at Norwood Elementary. God rest her now. She said that Looney Tunes was dangerous because it didn't show kids that shooting each other in the face with a 12 gauge was dangerous.
Well, she was ahead of her time on that one, in my opinion.
But did any of us as children, you were a child that grew up the same time I did you really believe that you could take a 12 gauge and shoot your friend in the face and they just turn their duck bill back around?
Let me just say this. I do think there are imagery, and scenarios in the media that misrepresent to children the reality of certain situations.
Yes, you cannot survive if an anvil crashes down on
There-
you and puts you in the ground.
But when you're 3 or 5 or 7, who knows how distorting that could be.
All right, cancel the Cartoon Network, JJ. Turn it off. Looney Tunes.
I'll just tell you this much. I actually watched a Bugs Bunny episode with my child when he was 4.
Right.
Because I watched it when I was a kid. I was like, this is a classic.
It really is.
This is fun. Maybe it's time to introduce him to some Looney Tunes. And after 2 episodes, he, because now it comes on Netflix and it's a whole, there's
Right, you
like
can watch them
20
all.
episodes in
Right.
one disc. After 2 episodes, he said, Mommy, I don't want to watch that. It's scary.
Yeah, but you don't have your child is. I mean, he's wired differently.
But he represents the new
Remember, his
generation of children.
Remember,
coming
Alexander's favorite candy is broccoli.
Up. Just saying.
Alexander does not represent a whole new generation.
We are evolving. I'm just saying we are changing.
Child's favorite
love-
candy is broccoli.
Looney Tunes.
That's
JJ,
not,
we gotta
that's
call
not
it.
entirely
We gotta call
true,
it.
by
Who
the
we got?
way.
Linda? Linda,
Not
real quick before
entirely
the break.
true.
Linda, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. And I just want to make a comment. There are so many kids being diagnosed with autism these days. And my grandson has it. I mean, he's a smart boy. But he takes everything literally.
Mm-hmm.
If you say there's a frog in his throat, he thinks there's a frog in his throat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where those cartoons, I mean, I watched them, but because of this autism thing, they take it literally and they look at things differently. So that could be a concern.
See? I agree, Linda.
Yeah.
So, okay, I guess.
Not every kid has autism.
But there are a lot of boys. I mean, the number that are, it's higher in boys, and
It
there's
is.
just so much. But
See-
they take things literally.
Absolutely.
What they see, they believe, and it's up to the parents to talk to them, which my daughter-in-law does. But it's just there are parents out there that don't.
And even children that aren't autistic. I mean,
Yeah.
my son does not have autism. He's not diagnosed as being autistic. But when he had a cold, I said, "Oh, you have you're a little hoarse." And then a couple hours later, he's like, "Mommy, can I see the little horse? Where's the little horse?" I
yeah.
mean, it really was a literal translation.
Yeah, and this is for young ones.
Young,
you know,
right.
I'm just, that's it. And
That's
I
right.
guess they should be regulated what they can watch. But
Well, thanks so much for the call, Linda.
okay.
Thank you, Lynn. And
You know-
remember, Looney Tunes, were done in the 60s.
No,
when-
they were done in the 40s,
Oh, well,
50s.
then even more so.
Well, they make new Looney Tunes that are on every day.
Some of those aren't new. Some of those have been there since
No,
the
but they
40s and
got new
50s.
ones.
Right. So, and that's a whole nother show that we may need to get into a discussion too.
Mm-hmm.
Because while autism is a very real diagnosis,
Absolutely.
sometimes I think that in 2013, autism is the ADHD of the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Because I suffer from ADHD. It's not even debatable.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that a lot of people, I've had doctors tell me adults don't have ADHD. You're depressed. You grow out of ADHD. And that children, too many people get diagnosed. And without a doubt, in the 70s, every kid that was bad and acted up had ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
It was way overdiagnosed. And I'm not sure that while autism is a very real medical situation, I'm not real sure if 20 years from now we're not going to be saying the same thing about autism, the diagnosis of autism that we said
Right.
about ADHD
Which
25 years
is
ago.
why there's a spectrum now. They
Right.
talk about there's a spectrum
know.
and there's varying
Right.
degrees. Yeah.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, Lori Martin Gregory, she'll actually take over the mics for her healthy living segment like she normally does on Thursday. We'll do that next because I got some questions about my eyes. My eyes are going bad, and they're going bad quick. And I got some questions about my eyes.
How many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we'll talk about that next. Plus, I'm sure she's got some other things she wants to talk about healthy living. And there's two buzzwords that mean food fly off the shelf. I'll get Lori's take on what she thinks of those buzzwords next on the Voice of Ocala on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source. Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range. We usually hide somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
WOCA, Ocala.
The sound of the bat cracking, the crowd cheering, the smell of overpriced but tasty hot dogs, the memories that will last a lifetime of your first baseball game with little Johnny. Your team wins. It was a great night. Until you get home. It's 9 p.m. and your wife says you have no water.
We have no water.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Rule number 1, don't panic. Remain calm. Okay, that's 2 rules.
We don't have time for jokes, funny man.
Okay, think back. On the way home, you heard a radio commercial.
Mike's Got Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Eureka. You saved the day. You remembered that Mike Scott Plumbing doesn't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. You are a genius.
Hey, Mr. Genius, did you remember the phone number?
Of course you did. Remember, you're a genius. 352-237-2888. Because at Mike Scott Plumbing, if water runs through it, we do it. Even if water's not running through it at this particular moment. Mike Scott Plumbing.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala home store on Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give them a call and they'll come and pick it up. For more information, visit habitatocala.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County, building homes, building hope, building community.
This is a public notice. Local residents can now save thousands of dollars on their next car, truck, or SUV. It's not a tent sale, because no tent is big enough to hold this many cars. It's ocalaforsale.com. Say goodbye to sticker shock. Ocalaforsale.com has thousands of vehicles with no stickers at all. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala on a beautiful Thursday afternoon in the lovely brick city of Ocala, Florida. They've shut the fountains off here at the Cascades. I'm looking out at the fountains. The fountains are shut off. I don't really like that, I don't think. Getting ready for Easter weekend. Beautiful weather supposed to be here for this Easter weekend. Warming up quite nicely. I'm joined. Buddy Martin's not here, by the way. He's taking advantage of a long weekend by going down visiting some family in Orlando and then going a little farther south. So Lori Martin Gregory is here for her Healthy Living segment. She's been co-hosting the show with me all day, but now she's here for the part of her Thursday she's always here for, Healthy Living. Lori, before you get started with what you want to do on Healthy Living, let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
My eyes.
Yes.
I have on readers right now, right here, 2.0s.
Mm-hmm.
I started needing reading glasses about 14 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I started at 1.0s.
Mm-hmm.
In 14 months, I've went to 2.0s. 1.75 still blurred. 2.0s are what I need to see.
Mm-hmm.
I eat, I have... Always, as a kid, you were always told, eat carrots, save your eyes.
Right.
I love carrots. Your son just called. He was eating a carrot.
Yes.
But yet my eyes are still going bad. Is that just a natural progression of age you have to deal with, or
Well,
are there
it
things I can do?
It depends on how you define age, and everyone defines it differently.
Well, I'm 47 with probably the age of about 58.
Okay.
My body, with the damage and the things I've done to my body, I'm probably closer to 60 than I
So
am
then
47.
if you wanted to, you could reverse those effects of aging, but it would probably take more work than your average 47-year-old. So absolutely the information exists. We now have the internet, which a lot of us consider to be the fourth dimension. Information moves at a very fast pace now. You have access to information that you otherwise would not have access to right in your living room. And the question really is, how do you define health? What is optimal health to you? Do you want to slow down this presbyopia, is what it's called? Or do you want to just stop it where it is, or do you want to reverse it? So in Ayurvedic medicine, which is the science of life and longevity, which is what I've been practicing for 16 years, you can actually, even if you're born with astigmatism, you could eliminate it.
Okay, and
it's just a matter of how much time, energy, resources, how much most people don't really want to invest that much in their health. I want a basic insurance plan where I have a copay, I get a checkup. If I get an ache or pain, give me a pill. I don't want to deal with it. I don't have time. Get sick, I don't have time. Get me a Z-Pack. I can't, be bothered. Until eventually you hit middle age or beyond, and it's more pills, more ailments, and it's just a vicious cycle of managing your pain.
Yeah, I have no desire, and I have said this to my younger sister numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
My mother passed away of COPD.
Mm-hmm. Ugly.
Yeah, it was not. It was
ugly.
not. It was not. She she died of congestive heart failure is what she died
Right.
of,
Mm-hmm.
but it was brought on by COPD.
Congestive obstructive
Right.
pulmonary disorder, which is just the fluid filling up in the lungs, which starts because the heart's not pumping as
And I firmly
efficiently.
believe it had to do with 2.5, 3 packs of Benson and Hedges a day.
You think?
I'm a firm believer in that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the last 4 or 5 years of my mother's life.
Horrible, I'm sure.
We had her. We were home. My sister was at home taking care of her, and then we had to finally put her in an assisted living facility.
Right.
And I remember just the massive, and let me use the word here, massive amounts of pills that would be given to my mother in 3 doses a day.
Not counting BiPAP machines and oxygen tanks.
Right, they're not counting that.
All that other stuff.
We're talking about just that they would bring in like a restaurant ramekin full of pills 3 times a day.
Just to keep her alive.
Right, and
just to maintain where she was.
The only one pill out of that entire group that I thought was a definite need
Right.
was Seroquel. Because my mother had let's just say she had some issues
unresolved
with her.
emotional issues.
She tried to land 747s using her cell phone in her living room one night. But that's neither here nor there.
It's a wonder. I mean, you take
but
that
was
many...
all that brought on by all the medicine she was
chicken
taking?
or the egg. I mean, you're congesting your liver when you load up on pharmaceuticals.
I mean, she was taking morphine, and there was literally, I counted one ramekin one time. I was like, I have to see what this is. And I don't even know what all the pills were. She was taking in one dosage, 17 pills. And she did this 3 times a day. It wasn't 17. It was like 17, 12, and 12.
Right.
Did it 3 times a day. And I said then, and that's why to this day, I take my 1-a-day multivitamin, because my health guru told me find a good multi-day. I take my vitamin B, my vitamin C, just the stuff you told me to take. I take about 8 or 9 supplements a day. But literally, unless I'm in so much pain that it's hard for me to sleep, I don't even take Advil.
Right.
Because I refuse to end up like my mother, where I'm taking over 35 pills, 36 pills a day.
Well, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because there's a reason why our livers have evolved to the point where they are 2 lobes. It's an organ that starts on the right side of the body and goes all the way over to the left side. It's a very large organ. And that's because we really need it. We live in a world where the water isn't as clean as it used to be, the food isn't as clean as it used to be. 85% of the topsoil in the United States is been
Garbage.
stripped of
It's
vitamins
garbage.
and minerals. So the food we're eating isn't as nutritious. The liver has to work 3 times harder just to maintain optimal health. And so when you compound with those factors a multitude of supplements which require digestive breakdown, you're now going to see liver congestion, which is actually what I want to talk about today.
See how that works?
The spring, and I didn't even tell you that. So.
No, you didn't.
Springtime is a great time to do a liver flush. It's not difficult to do. And if you get a good basic herbal supplement, now this is not a pill and I'm not selling it.
Yeah, when we say supplement, when she's talking about supplement, she doesn't
talking
mean
about-
healthy supplement. She's talking about pain pills and stuff like that as supplements to what your body can normally do.
What I'm talking about in this case is just an herbal supplement. It's just an herb, which is a food, which is put into a capsule for convenience sake that you can ingest that will help the liver detox from all sorts of residue, bacteria, viruses, parasites, all sorts of goop that by the time you're 25, 30 years old is going to start to accumulate. And that is actually one way you can help improve your vision. Because when the body starts functioning optimally in the digestive tract, all of the enzymes are processed more efficiently in the body. There's more balance to the hormonal system, the endocrine system. You just have a more balanced experience. And part of that liver flush, so there's 3 simple things you can do. Number 1, find a really good liver flush. You can use a whole host of them.
Isn't there like a tea out there too you
there's
can
all
use?
sorts of things. The basic gentle liver cleanse that I always come back to, and I've been using it now for almost 20 years. I've recommended it to clients. And the reason I like it is because the company that makes it has been in business for over 100 years. You can get it online. It's inexpensive. It's good quality herbs, but it's also gentle enough that if you have a heavy toxic load and you've never done a cleanse or a flush of any kind, it's not going to wear you down and make your system just basically come to a grinding halt because you're trying to detoxify so fast that everything kind of sludgily comes to a stop.
Right.
You're also not going to have to pull over on the interstate and run to the rest stop. It's just a real basic things like dandelion root, marshmallow root, that are very...
I like marshmallow.
It's not quite the same thing as some more. But they're just known herbs that for hundreds of years have been beneficial to dandelion, to helping the liver rejuvenate, flush out residue, and kickstart into a more optimal firing in the digestive tract.
And by the way, if you don't have a good liver, you die.
You're kind of, it's game over. I mean, Larry Hagman even had to wait years for a new liver.
I have a friend of mine right now that is in, for all intents and purposes, a coma in the hospital because of liver issues.
It's
because
not pretty.
Not supposed to drink. He knows it, and he still did, and it's caused him all kind of issues.
Well, a lot of us have unresolved emotional issues, and there's a lot of pain we haven't processed, and alcohol can what it will do, in Chinese medicine, the liver is the seat of anger and unresolved frustration. So alcohol actually swells the liver and gives you more room to hold more anger. So it's just a processing thing. But I know we have to go to break. We can go to break. We can come back. I'll tell folks what this basic herbal cleanses you can do, and I'll tell you the other 2 things that you can do while you're doing it to really help kickstart
We'll do
your
that.
liver.
Plus, we'll get a little pop culture in, and your good
My
news.
good news.
We'll hear all of that next on the Voice of Ocala on the Healthy Living segment with Lori Martin Gregory on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. If you have an award or a trophy in your house, there's more than a good chance it came from BJ Trophies Gifts and Awards. At BJ Trophies, Floyd Hirschberger and his staff have a lot more than just trophies. Among the items they specialize in are donor recognition walls and trees, personalized or engraved gifts, cast bronze dedication plaques, wide format digital printing with posters, banners, and signs, and promotional products. Floyd is the official trophy and awards maker for the Voice of Ocala radio show and is North Central Florida's leader in custom recognition programs, corporate awards, industrial engraving, unique gifts, and advertising specialties. When Angie Lewis went shopping for something to award to the winners of her State Farm Good Neighbor Award, she shopped first at BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Check them out at 1735 Northeast Jacksonville Road on North Magnolia's Miracle Mile, or call them today at 352-732-2249. BJ Trophies Awards and Gifts. Trophies is just our middle name. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to Marie Collier. She worked at Nintendo as a game player, and she's written a book. It's called Earthbound, a science fiction adventure novel.
Open for debate where you get to choose the topic.
And then Winging It with Brad Bursma and Josh Furdunk. They come in from Ocala Aviation Flight School to tell you what it takes to become a pilot.
Mady Schreschen-Ghost is an award-winning children's author. She will be speaking about two of her books, Voice Wizardry and Writing Wizardry, and she will also be featured at the 2013 Book Feast on April the 13th.
And then Ocala Magazine Radio with your host, John Sotomayor.
Pastor Junior D'Souza is a certified biblical counselor, and Randy Doremus is the CEO of Gateway to Hope Ministries. They'll be in the studio speaking about 5 bad rules you must always break.
And then Laura Petherbridge is going to be with us. She's an inspirational speaker, a divorce care expert. Her books are The Smart Stepmom and When I Do Becomes I Don't. All of that plus Fun with Joe on the next AM Ocala Live right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless the recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala on a Thursday afternoon. Lloyd Martin Gregory here with our Healthy Living segment. Lloyd, before we went to break, you were telling us about ways to rejuvenate your liver.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do once a year, and spring is a great time to do so. Spring and fall are the two best times, the change of seasons, to just kind of rebalance. And if you want to do a basic liver cleanse and you've never done one before, there's a company called Nature's Sunshine. You can go to naturesunshine.com and get the Tao He Liver Cleanse. That's TIAOHE, second word, HE, liver cleanse. It's gentle, it's simple, it's only about 10 days. Excuse me, you take a packet of herbs that are in a capsulated form, 5 in a little cellophane packet before 15-30 minutes before you eat, twice a day, and that will absolutely gently clear out your liver and just give you a chance to function digestively at a more optimal level. And of course, if you've listened to the show at all, digestion and your gut is the whole key to healthy and balanced living. So if you have anything from gallbladder issues to poor digestion to insomnia or even vision problems, even joint pain, when the liver is functioning more optimally, the body is going to be fed more optimally. You're going to have better results with the food you eat. You're going to absorb more of your food and you're going to eliminate more efficiently. So get a Tao He liver cleanse. The second thing is during the 10 days to 2 weeks that you do the cleanse, cut out certain foods like alcohol and wheat and uncultured dairy products. If you're having dairy at all, the only way to go with dairy is raw dairy that's from raw milk and is cultured, and you either culture it yourself or you buy it cultured. Besides that, cut out commercial dairy, cut out commercial wheat, and give your system a chance to really clear out. And then the third thing would be drink lots of hot water and lemon. That's a great way to start your day. It's a great way to assist in, it's sort of like adding a turbo effect to the herbs that you're taking for clearing out the liver. And it goes by pretty quickly. You'd be amazed at how clear your mind will start to be. The first couple of days you might feel foggy because your body is clearing itself of a toxic load, but the liver is a very good size organ. It's evolved to 2 lobes. You've got a big chunk on the right side of your body under your rib cage, and then on the left side. A lot of women especially have had problems with gallbladders in the past 10 to 20 years. A lot of women have had gallbladders removed, and the gallbladder actually is like a little a sack of marbles. And it stores bile. And whenever the liver needs bile, like if you eat fried foods, you're going to need more bile to break down foods that are hard to process. So the liver will signal to the gallbladder I need some more bile, send it over. So if the liver's congested, if you don't do an annual liver cleanse, your gallbladder's also going to be overworking. So it's a good way to balance both of those parts of your body, and then subsequently, when they're functioning more optimally, you'll have better results from the spleen and the pancreas, which are on the left side of the body, and it's a good reboot.
Well, before we get to your good news,
yeah,
the words low fat. Remember those are on everything. Low fat and light. Remember those are on everything.
They're horrible too, by the way.
But food flew off the shelves.
Of
if it
course.
said low fat or light,
right,
people bought it.
And then it evolved to fat free.
Think about it. Bud Light is the number 1 selling beer now because it's light beer.
Right.
Because it said light. Mm-hmm. And it's not light for you. Take it from me.
So you drink twice as much.
I'm losing all the weight that I gained from drinking Bud Light. So it's not very light.
No.
Because I was 300 pounds. That's not light.
As I tell my 5-year-old, they're just trying to trick you.
Right. So now there are 2 new words, 2 new phrases or
I'm
words
gonna guess.
or phrases.
Can I guess?
That make food fly off the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
You got any ideas?
Gluten-free.
That's number 1.
Which is a trick, by the way. If you're trying to cut out wheat, do not assume because something says gluten-free, it's better. Because heads up, most of the stuff they use to substitute for the wheat are things like potato starch, rice flour. A lot of these things will spike your insulin, will cause the pancreas to just spasm. So
right.
you got to,
So it is gluten-free, but it's not healthy for you.
They're tricking you. You got to go careful. Now, there are some things. There's a product I love called Mary's Gone Crackers, makes the most fabulous wheat-free crackers.
Right.
It's all natural good stuff. It doesn't have any of the trickery. So you just have to read the label. I'm going to guess the second thing, organic?
No, organic, not the thing. Protein.
Protein. Oh, high protein?
High protein.
Which is supposed to imply low carb.
Right. High protein. And things are flying off the shelves.
Uh-huh.
That's just...
Also could be trickery.
That's advertising at its best, isn't it?
Protein, soy is protein.
Right.
Soy is one of the most controversial foods in the holistic world. and is dangerous because it actually mimics estrogen in the body, which is not good for women or men.
Right.
So they could just say high protein. It just could be a ton of soy in there. So you still have to read the label. Don't be fooled by these marketing gimmicks.
Well, and that's what they are. That's what I wanted you to point out, that just because it says high protein or gluten-free
Does not
on the
equal
package
healthy.
doesn't mean that
No.
they're even telling you the truth.
Pay attention. That's not necessarily better for you.
Right, because I remember when Light came out, it depended on the way you spelled it, whether the FDA let you get away with it or not.
Well, and a lot of folks are still drinking 2% milk or 1%, and they think
And
they're
it's
doing
horrible.
themselves.
It's just water.
It's worse because it has no enzymes. It has.
Right.
There are healthy fats, people. Healthy. Raw milk has healthy fats. Raw cheeses and cultured dairies. Nuts. Those are healthy, essential fats
And I
that
love
are
some
good for you.
cashews.
So don't throw out the baby with the bathwater and think, oh, I'm drinking 2% milk. It's healthier. Error. Mistake. It will haunt you.
Yes.
Not a good thing.
I agree with that totally. You can't. I don't drink any milk. I just
Right. Good.
It's just I've never been a big milk person. I've never been a huge milk person. So that when you did have me do my 90-day cleanse
Right.
a year and a half ago,
Right.
you were like, you got to give up this and this and this. I was like, well, let me tell you a secret. I don't drink coffee.
Right. I don't drink milk.
I don't drink milk.
Right.
So
You had other vices.
yeah, I had other vices. So
Because we've all got them. We've all got those things that, we really need to take a break from time to time.
speaking of things that we all have, you got some great news today.
I did get some nice news. I actually got it. I didn't get it today, but I the past couple weeks it's been unfolding. And I've had the opportunity and privileged actually to be able to call myself a musician.
Well, now people don't
Something
know
I've done for
you've done
decades.
that for a long time. You
have.
you fronted your own band and everything.
Several.
Right, but you this is not something that you just started. This is a labor of love that you've done for
Since I
your
was
adult life.
I can remember writing poems at the age of 5, and
Right.
Then was classically trained in piano for a long time, and flute as well, and then switched over to bass guitar when I was in my 20s. Have put out probably 5 or 6 records over my decades.
And so you got a phone call.
So I got a phone call, an email actually.
An email, yeah.
People don't use phones anymore. And there's a producer in Vancouver who is taking some of my material and remixing and is going to actually be releasing some of my stuff, some of which is new, some of which I'm in the process right now still of writing. But I received back my first reworked song that they've done with my vocals as the lead vocals, and I'm really excited. It sounds very different than I expected, but I'm really enjoying it. I've lived with it now for about 2 weeks, and I'm really pleased with what they're doing. I'm very excited. So we'll be releasing it.
I'm going to have to come over and listen.
Okay. Right, and have some hot water and lemon.
Yeah, hot water and
Yes.
lemon. And fabulous white pizza.
And fabulous white pizza,
That
gluten-free.
that gluten-free white pizza, folks. Lori and I came up with a gluten-free white. She had gluten-free. I told her how to make a white pizza.
Oh,
It was
fresh spinach from Sugar Tree Farms.
It was
tomatoes.
exquisite.
It was sun-dried tomatoes, goat cheese,
Right.
olive oil a key first. No marinara.
No
Just
marinara,
olive oil.
just olive oil. So
To
we're going
die.
to take a break.
It was to die.
One of our listeners
What?
wanted to know the product that you were talking about.
Yes, it's Nature's Sunshine. You can go to naturesunshine.com. It's a very reputable herbal supplement company that's been around for over 100 years, and the product is called Tao He Liver Cleanse. TIAO, second word HE. Tao He Liver Cleanse. It's real gentle, real simple. If you're not an internet person, you can look up the number for Nature's Sunshine and call them. They have an 800 number. If you want to call back, I'll give you the number offline. But it's a real basic liver cleanse. I've used it almost every year for 17 years now. Never let me down. It's a great go-to basic staple.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll squeeze in a little pop culture in the little brief time we have left together today on this Thursday. Thank you so much for sharing with me today.
Thank you for having me.
And
Enjoyed it.
we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll make JJ listen to Mindy Project
Oh,
talk.
yes.
We'll do that next on the Voice of Ocala right here on The Source. Are you looking for a trustworthy auto care company that won't sell you something you don't need? Look no further than Affordable Auto Air and Care. Affordable Auto Air and Care has serviced Ocala for a decade and is family owned and operated. They offer quality parts at affordable prices, and they even include a 1-year or 12,000-mile warranty on their parts and labor. Their certified technicians work on any type of vehicle, even RVs. They specialize in auto AC, but they also offer oil changes, brake service, filters, tune-ups, shocks, axles, complete auto repair. Affordable Auto Air and Care is located at 1841 Northwest 4th Avenue on the corner of Old Jacksonville Road and 441. Call 352-401-0011 to book an appointment. That's 352-401-0011. Affordable Auto Air and Care. Complete auto repair. Take it from me, Tom Schmitz. I'm a customer. This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976.
I'm an animal lover, and I know in Marion County and the city of Ocala, we have problems with, like, dog fighting. I was wondering if you could just address that a little and what citizens of Marion County and Ocala could look for.
Well, when a lot of that activity is going on, you know, it's being held at locations that are pretty well concealed, I would say. So if you do hear something, most important thing is just notify the communications center, and then we'll absolutely respond to it and check on it. But a lot of times in locations where the dogs are being held, you know, you'll see where they're tethered. They'll have cages, and that's some possibility that you'll see that, and then it may occur. But I don't think you're personally going to get invited to a dog fight.
WOCA. Hi, this is Brad, one of the hosts of Winging It here on WOCA every Friday at 9 a.m. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue regarding aviation. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots, in part due to the lack of new pilots starting their flight training now. A pilot needs 2 to 3 years to get through their training and to build up enough flight time to be able to be hired. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a private pilot's license. This license will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. Now, of course, the student does not have to have aspirations of becoming a commercial pilot. If they simply have a desire to obtain their private pilot's license so they may enjoy the adventures of flying, they may also apply for the scholarship. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact me, Brad, or Ron at Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484. That's 861-7484.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're ocalaforsale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to ocalaforsale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
News Talk 1370 WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Back on the Voice of Ocala. Buddy Martin taking an early vacation day to get in a little longer vacation weekend over the Easter weekend. Coming up in the sports and Buddy Sports page, next hour, 5:15, NFL Hall of Famer, quarterback Fran Tarkington. He's got a show on our radio waves on the weekend called Common Sense Retirement. We're going to talk to Fran Tarkington about his career in the NFL and what he's done after the NFL. All that coming up in Buddy's Sports page in the next hour. Real quick, Lori, we were talking last week when you were here about Jimmy Fallon and how everybody says NBC's already decided he's going to take over for Jay Leno when Jay Leno's contract runs out. I was watching Fallon last night. The curtain that he comes out of is the blue, shiny blue, like Johnny Carson used to walk out from behind. And Jimmy, he's got a great house band, just like Johnny Carson had Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra. and then he has a sidekick. I can't call the guy's name.
Steve Higgins.
Steve Higgins, who, to me, is the epitome of a modern day Ed McMahon. So, is Jimmy Kimmel? I mean, not Jimmy Kimmel. Is
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon is he already starting to get that genre in place?
Of course. They're going to totally piggyback his brand onto the Carson legacy because he has that same Midwestern sensibility. He's, appeals to a broad range of demographic, and he's young. So he has the potential to be doing this show for 50 years. 50 years, but certainly reaches, 35 to 40 years.
And he had Kathy Lee Gifford on playing wine pong.
And he's very believable. He's very genuine, and that comes across. And that was what made Carson so likable. So they know what they're doing, and it's already started. And I would be stunned if he were not hosting the Tonight Show in New York City in September of next year. Now, that I have a feeling that's probably the biggest bone of contention is just where is the show going to be?
Well, it originated in New York.
Right.
Jack Parr had it in New York.
They've got to...
Steve Allen had it in New York.
But what's going to be a key factor is obviously whomever follows him for the 12:30 slot is going to have to be in Los Angeles. They're going to have to have both venues.
Right.
So, that's... Until they have... If you remember when Letterman moved over to CBS... They didn't announce it until they were basically already under construction at the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Right.
So all of those issues are going to be resolved before they really tell us what's going on.
Certainly, but I think that the writing is on the wall that Jimmy Fallon is going to take over the 11:35 time slot, the Tonight Show, and make us forget that Jay Leno was ever a host of it, I think. I think Jay Leno
he'll be a blip in
I think
history.
He'll be like Steve Allen because Jack Parr, Johnny Carson.
It's unfortunate because this may sound old-fashioned, but Leno really brought him off the circuit and into late night television.
Right.
He was a guest on Letterman's late night show. He used to come in and he had always had a beef, and he'd bring a sandwich and he would eat, and he knew how much Letterman wanted that show, and there was no loyalty there. There was no.
And these were two guys that were supposedly
they
great
were friends, and there was no love. So unfortunately, there's a little karma at play, and he'll be remembered for the whole buffoonery with Conan.
Certainly, Lloyd Martin Gregory, thanks so much for holding down the co-host chair with me today. Thanks so much for doing that. Coming up next, Buddy Sports Page, Fran Tarkington, NFL Hall of Famer, and then Fran's Beard with Gator Talk Thursday, presented by Country Club of Ocala, right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless the recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala and Bellevue. Prestige, it's all there in our name.
Relations got you down. Are you at your wit's end? Does the opposite sex just confuse you? Then I've got the solution for you, Dr. Buddy.
Well, let me just tell you what you slugs are doing wrong. Remember, dummy, it's about the chase and the romantic interludes, okay? Now, here's the difference. Instead of dinner and a movie, which seems obsolete these days. They have this random phone text, Facebook post, instant message, and quote-unquote non-dates. Traditional courtship, which is still what women want, guys. Picking up a telephone, asking someone on a date, maybe even going as far to pick them up in your car, requires courage, strategic planning, and a considerable investment in ego.
So now you know where to tune in to get all your relationship advice. It's the Dr. Buddy Show every Monday on the Voice of Ocala. You can succeed only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
WOCA.
They've served our country. They've kept us free. And they need your help.
We're sitting in Veterans Park. You can't sit here not realizing that you're surrounded by heroes. There are a lot of heroes in our community. A lot of heroes, unfortunately, are not in good financial shape. They're hurting both physically and financially. We step in and help directly. Our role is to reach out to them. We're there to help the veteran. We do counseling. We do outreach. Sometimes it's just coming into the office and sitting down and saying, hey, I've got a problem, and you're talking to another veteran who understands that problem.
Everybody who works for the Vets Helping Vets are awesome, and they are so kind to everybody. They're like my second family. They really are.
They have been there during the holidays. I have gotten unexpected visits, assistance.
Vets Helping Vets of Marion County needs your help. Call today, 352-433-2320, and pledge your support to Vets Helping Vets of Marion County.
It really has been a blessing.
Hi, this is Brad, one of the hosts of Winging It here on WOCA every Friday at 9 a.m. I want to take a moment to talk about a serious issue regarding aviation. In the next 5 years, the aviation industry is projected to have a shortage of commercial pilots, in part due to the lack of new pilots starting their flight training now. A pilot needs 2 to 3 years to get through their training and to build up enough flight time to be able to be hired. Now is the time to start training. Ocala Flying Club has started a scholarship for the youth of Marion County ages 17 to 24. The club will donate up to $4,000 towards a private pilot's license. This license will help get the student on their way to obtaining their commercial pilot license. Now, of course, the student does not have to have aspirations of becoming a commercial pilot. If they simply have a desire to obtain their private pilot's license so they may enjoy the adventures of flying, they may also apply for the scholarship. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, or if you know someone that would be, please contact me, Brad, or Ron at Ocala Aviation Services, 861-7484. That's 861-7484.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new
Yep,
trunk.
we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
You may not enjoy a visit to the dentist, but you probably don't worry about contracting a potentially deadly virus. Thousands of patients in Tulsa, however, may have been exposed to HIV, hepatitis B, and C. Dr. Scott Harrington stopped practicing voluntarily this month after being accused of several safety violations. Police in Connecticut today released a list of items that were found in the home of Newtown school shooter Adam Lanza. It included guns, ammo, a bayonet, and a holiday card from Lanza's mother, containing a check made out to him to buy a firearm. Your 401k probably got a nice little boost today if any of it's in stocks. The S&P cruised to a record high close. The Dow also finished at another all-time high. Goodwill is teaming up with eBay to sell it forward. Let users send used items to eBay in a postage-paid bag. The site will then pass it on to Goodwill. If Goodwill can sell it, they'll split the cash with you. If not, you still get a receipt for the tax deduction. This is ABC News.
Is your favorite Italian gorgeous and balanced, crisp as an apple, and authentic like Cavit Pinot Grigio? Or is your favorite Italian smooth as silk and alluring as dark cherries and red berries like Cavit Pinot Noir? Or is your favorite Italian vibrant, aromatic, and as delicately sweet as an apricot like Cavit Moscato? No matter which wine you prefer, the award-winning Cavit collection is America's favorite Italian. Imported by Pompey International, Boca Raton, Florida. Campaign financed according to EC Regulations number 123407.
Mom, I had the best dream!
Well, good morning to you, too.
Okay, so I was a knight. I had a sword, and our house was a castle. There was this angry dragon. It was kinda scary.
Oh, yeah?
But I protected the castle.
Oh, that's my brave little man. I'm glad our castle is safe.
Your home is your castle, and sometimes you need help defending it. The National Association of Realtors supports maintaining homeowner tax incentives because they make home ownership more affordable for more families. Learn more at houselogic.com.
How much time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Okay. Enough kidding around.
Ho, 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 ho.
And now it's time for the Buddy Martin Sports Page.
He actually had me stay here last night in his gym.
It's like I don't belong here. Let's go talk to a couple of guys that never gamble.
Oh, see, I made Lewis a bet here. See, Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you on the poorhouse at the same time. He didn't think we could do it.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
And now, here's Buddy.
Welcome to Hour 3 of the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports Page. Buddy Martin on vacation, a little day early. Long vacation weekend. Good Friday tomorrow, Easter Sunday on Sunday here in the beautiful city of Ocala. We start this sports hour by telling you Fran Tarkington, NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, will be joining us 5:15. Talk about his career and what he's doing now in life. Also, Fran's beard. Florida, it's time for Gator Talk Thursday, brought to you by Country Club of Ocala. Fran's Beard will be talking the University of Florida versus Florida Gulf Coast University in the Sweet 16. Tomorrow's late game. Making everybody over here in Florida on the East Coast stay up late to watch. Is it a 10:15 tip-off, JJ?
Correct.
10:15 tip-off, and it's probably on like Sci-Fi Network or something.
10:07 on TBS.
On TBS. TBS knows funny. So that's the Florida game tomorrow. There was a basketball game in the NBA last night, JJ, that people didn't give the home team very much chance of winning the basketball game, as a Miami Heat team goes into Chicago sporting a 27-game winning streak. LeBron James scores 32 points to go along with 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 block shots. Chris Bosh throws in 21 points. Dwayne Wade throws in 18. The big three looks like they got it done. Not so fast, my friend. Chicago, at home, stops the streak, beating Miami 101-97. Lou Aldang leading the Chicago Bulls with 28 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Little controversy, though. LeBron James called for a flagrant 1 foul late in the fourth quarter as he lowered his shoulder into Carlos Boozer's chest to try to run through a screen set by Boozer. LeBron said he was frustrated that he got the flagrant 1 when he had flagrants happen to him all night. The one that I really thought should have been called that wasn't was against Kirk Heinrich, who, let's be honest, I played linebacker. Heinrich did a form tackle. He put his face right to his chest, wrapped his arms around him, and took him to the ground. Good form tackle, JJ, just the way they teach it in Pop Warner. Only problem was they were playing basketball, not football.
Well, LeBron's foul was a flagrant, and it should have been a flagrant. But that was a crazy, absurd foul by Kirk Heinrich. LeBron comes down the lane. It's one-on-one. You know LeBron's going to go take him on and hopefully get an and-one foul. Kirk Heinrich just wrapped his arms around him.
Didn't play the ball, just bear hugged him, form tackled
took him to the ground before he got anywhere close to the basket. If that's not a flagrant foul, I don't know what is.
I mean,
but LeBron's foul was at such a stupid point in the game.
It was. It was a
They're
frustration
down about
foul.
7. There's a couple minutes left. There's still an outside opportunity. They could come back and tie the game. But when you do something like that, you give your team no opportunity to come back.
It was clearly a frustration foul.
Right. They already gave up.
But LeBron later on was split in 2 defenders and got hacked right across the head, too.
Yes.
And that wasn't called. So the streak has come to an end now. 27 games, second longest in NBA history. We got a caller? Hugh is on the line.
How you doing, guys?
Hugh, how are you today?
Tom, you're doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Who had the longest winning streak?
The Los Angeles Lakers, 33 games.
And who beat them? Who stopped the streak?
Absolutely no
I think because you're calling Hugh, probably the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks with Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I figured it was the Bucks.
Yeah, the date was somewhere in the 70s, and I was at the game. It was played at the what they call the old Milwaukee Arena at that time before the Bradley Center was built, and it was a game to remember. One of my sport highlights. As much as a Packer fan and everything else, that game was really something else when he stopped that streak. You know, it was something to see.
Well, Hugh, as a Packers fan.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to be listening to the show at 5:15 then. Huh?
Well, no. My wife will be calling because she says that Mr. Tarkington probably aged her a little bit with all that running around he did as quarterback.
Well, unfortunately, it won't be a call-in segment with Fran Tarkington.
Yeah, we didn't think so.
Brief.
But those were great football games when he was with Minnesota and the Packers. The guy was unbelievable. The scrambler. He just not only drove her nuts, but drove me nuts watching that crazy guy running around. And he had a great career. And
I'm going to ask him if he ran around more because his offensive line didn't do good, or was it just how he played football? Should I ask him that question?
Yeah, ask him that question. I got a feeling that he, when he was calling the plays, he forgot what he was calling. You ask
I don't
him
think
that.
I'm going to ask him that.
Yeah, right. Then decide I'll just run around and figure something out. You know.
Yeah. Well, Hugh, I knew when you called it had to be the Milwaukee Bucks.
You're right. Yeah, that was again. Of course, they went on in the a year later, was it? Or I forget. They won their one and only championship for Milwaukee.
Right. But do you honestly, Hugh? Do you see anybody beating Miami this year in a 7-game series?
Boy, I don't know. I just don't know. It's hard. I don't think so. Really. Yeah.
They're very good.
Very good. Yeah, and it's a lot of mental besides physical, and if they're up for it, nobody's going to touch them. You know.
I agree with you, Hugh.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for calling.
Thank you.
I just don't, even with the loss last night, JJ.
Big deal.
Yeah, I think now that's just going to.
They only won 27 in a row.
Right. That's all.
More than half this. No, more than
There's 82 games in a season.
More than a quarter of the season.
It's 27, 27, 27 would be 60, and then 3, 7, 21, it'd be 82. So it was one game shy of being a third of the season.
Okay.
Okay, one
Good
game
quick
shy
math. I couldn't do
of
that.
being a third of the season.
LeBron still played stellar.
He had.
Luol Deng just had an intense game. Nate Robinson came off the bench and played well. Hit some big threes, big steals.
The big three for Miami all played well. LeBron with 32, Chris Bosh with 21, and Dwayne Wade with 18. But then you got no points from Udonis Haslem, 9 points from Mario Chalmers. There's your starters. Then
Mario Chalmers, he didn't play that much, too. He only played 29 minutes. Cole played a lot more minutes than I thought. Shane Battier played 35
minutes, got 6 points.
I don't know why.
And Rashad Lewis, James Jones, Joel Anthony, and Mike Miller, none of them played. It says it was a coach's decision. But the Heat only shot, the Heat didn't shoot bad. They shot 48%. It's almost 50% from the field. Only 13 turnovers. It wasn't a bad game. Just they went into the home court of the Chicago Bulls, and like we said, everybody gives their A game when they're trying to stop a streak like that, and that's what happened to the Bulls last night. I mean, that's what happened to the Heat last night. The Bulls gave their A game and were able to pull off a victory. We're going to take a break. Coming up next, NFL Hall of Famer Fran Tarkington joins us. We're going to talk about his NFL career, find out where he went to college. I bet you don't know where he went to college, JJ. Talk to him about that. It's one of the hard trivia question, where Fran Tarkington went to college. We'll talk to him about that. Plus, what he's doing in his life today. I think he has a radio show kind of like this one he does on our airwaves on the weekends. We'll talk to him next. NFL Hall of Famer Fran Tarkington next on Buddy's Sports Page, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source. Hi, this is Tom Schmitz, the host of Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA. The Saturday Sports Page is your weekend destination for everything sports, from NASCAR to golf, baseball to boxing, and of course the best, most comprehensive football coverage on the radio. Also, you don't want to miss my weekly Are You Kidding Me rant? So join me and JJ LaSalva every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Buddy's Saturday Sports Page on WOCA, The Source.
Every day we hear another story about innovation or about cutting-edge technology taking place right here in Ocala. The power plant, IHMC, Ocala 489. Did you know that important medical research is also being conducted here that may impact hundreds of thousands of people in the country someday? Maybe you've heard the name Renstar, but like so many others, perhaps you didn't realize that Renstar Medical Research is one of the top facilities of its kind anywhere in the U.S. There are important research studies being conducted by a highly qualified team of medical experts at Renstar, impacting decisions of major pharmaceutical companies and bringing new drugs to market. And you can be a part of these studies, as so many local people have done and are currently doing. Renstar has conducted more than 500 studies since its inception and would like to extend the opportunity to you to be a part of these cutting-edge programs. Call 877-629-5800 or 352-629-5800 if you'd like to know more. Renstar Medical Research, locally owned and operated in beautiful downtown Ocala. Renstar, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Hi, this is Buddy Martin. I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with General Manager Pat Murray on the great family atmosphere at Country Club of Ocala.
It's a family-first club. Again, we have any number of different types of memberships, but obviously the one that attracts the greatest level of interest is our family. And the reason for that is we have a little something for everybody. I mean, we obviously have a world-class golf course. We have 7 tennis courts here for all levels of tennis players. We have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool. We have a fitness center that's second to none. And we have state-of-the-art equipment in our fitness center.
Country Club of Ocala, where the facilities are all a family would ever need. For more information, call today at 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of Monday's Gator Report and Gator Talk Thursday right here on The Source.
This is Don with ABC Frederick's Appliance. Here's my daughter, Lena.
And hey, everybody, it's Lena. You need to come down to ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue, where you are treated right with the right products like Whirlpool, Maytag, Crosley, and Speed Queen. These are the new ones. Don't forget, we also carry used appliances that we warranty. ABC Frederick's Appliance does repairs, too. Call us at 629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance on County Road 25, just over the railroad tracks in Bellevue. It's at 629-5181.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976.
I'm an animal lover, and I know in Marion County and the city of Ocala, we have problems with, like, dog fighting. I was wondering if you could just address that a little and what citizens of Marion County and Ocala could look for.
Well, when a lot of that activity is going on, it's being held at locations that are pretty well concealed, I would say. So if you do hear something, most important thing is just notify the communications center, and then we'll absolutely respond to it and check on it. But a lot of times in locations where the dogs are being held, you'll see where they're tethered. They'll have cages, and that's some possibility that you'll see that, and then it may occur. But I don't think you're personally going to get invited to a dog fight.
We're back on the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports Page. Let's go out to the phones now, joined by a boyhood idol of mine. I watched him in Super Bowl IX. I was the only person in my house pulling for the Minnesota Vikings that day. Rough day for me that day, but a man who went to the University of Georgia, played football for the Minnesota Vikings, NFL Hall of Famer Fran Tarkington. Mr. Tarkington, it is an honor to speak with you, sir.
Buddy, it's good to speak with you.
Actually, this is Tom Schmitz. Buddy
is, Tom. Okay, yeah, Tom.
Buddy is on. His wife told him it's Easter weekend. You're taking an extra day.
Well, good, Tom. Good to be with you, and thanks for those kind words.
Well, growing up as a kid, the first Super Bowl, I'm 47. The first Super Bowl I remember was Super Bowl IX, watching it in the living room with my father and my uncles, and they all told me we were living in South Georgia. They said, yeah, the Steelers are going to win this game. And all I knew is you had went to the University of Georgia. So we lived in Georgia. You had went to the University of Georgia. So I was a Purple People Eater fan that day. And
Attaboy.
Great career you had in the NFL. Now, a lot of people don't know I host trivia around Ocala here.
Sure.
And one of the questions I asked was, where did NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Fran Tarkenton go to college? A lot of people didn't know you went to the University of Georgia. Talk about the University of Georgia.
Well, I was a Bulldog back then. I went to Georgia out of. I grew up in Athens, right across the street from the University of Georgia, and we had a great high school team there. We won the state championship 41-20 over a legendary team from Valdosta. I was recruited all over the SEC, and I almost didn't go there. Went to Georgia. They had a terrible program in the 50s. I went there in 57. They had won nothing in the 50s. They were the doormat. 1959, my junior season, we were 10th out of ranked 10th out of a 12-team conference, and we won the SEC championship. And we had powerhouses in the conference. And Ole Miss was a powerhouse. LSU. Auburn were big powerhouses, and we beat them all. And we went to the Orange Bowl, won the Orange Bowl, and then so that was my college career. It was great. My high school career right there was terrific. And then I go up and get drafted by the Vikings as a expansion team in 1961, and and I didn't even know they had no history there at all, and we made up our team of cast-offs from the other teams, and we got to pick 6 of the bottom. The other teams got to freeze 34 players, and then we had to pick 3 of the bottom 6 players. And so we, the year before, the Dallas Cowboys came in and played 12-game schedule and won none with Tom Landry, the coach. And we opened the season against the Chicago Bears, which were then the dominant team of pro football because their coach was George Halas. George Halas was the general manager. George Halas was the owner of the Chicago Bears, and George Halas started the National Football League, so he had an edge. 28-point underdogs first game. We beat them 37-13, and I threw for 4, ran for 1, and that's how it started.
Well, a lot is said about how you ran the football through your career and all, but what people don't realize is, unless you're a football junkie like I am, you were the all-time NFL passing record for most touchdowns, most yards gained, and most completions, and those records stood for almost 20 years.
17 years. I look back, and you look back at the people that set these records, and I think the longest one that held them other than me was 11. I held mine for 17, and that little guy from down in Miami, Dan Marino, broke my records, and then Brett Favre broke his records. And Peyton is in the process of breaking all of Brett Favre because now it's a passing league. As you know, back in our day, if you threw for 300 yards, that was like unheard of. My biggest day passing was 420 yards out in San Francisco, but we played outdoors, and it was a running game. It was a defensive game. It was, we threw the ball 20, 25 times a game. Today they throw it 40, 50 times a game, and now we've gone to the read option and the spread and the hurry-up spread. I'd like to play in this era.
Well, now every quarterback, I'm an ex-middle linebacker, so I would figure an ex-quarterback in an era where quarterbacks can't be touched by the wind without a flag going. You would love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd like that. And I was lucky. I played 18 years. I missed 5 games because of injury in 18 years. I broke my leg, and we clinched our division championship that year, and at the ninth game of the season, and then it was a 14-game season. I didn't get to play in that playoffs, but we had a good run. We went to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and if I don't get hurt and we don't have the Hail Mary game, we go to 5 Super Bowls in 5 years. Didn't win any of them, but we competed well. And the Vikings in the 70s. We're right up there with the Steelers and the Cowboys and so forth. It was a good run for us.
Well, now you played the game in the NFL in the 60s and the 70s.
Yeah.
When I like that era of football because that's when I was introduced to the game. That's when I grew up watching the game. Now you hear a lot of people saying that the NFL's turning it into a flag football or a touch football league. How do you feel about the new rule changes and the stuff they're doing under the guise of safety for the game?
I think that they've gone too far with this thing with the running backs not able. You know, I don't know how you referee that after they're out of the 4-yard box. They can't lower their head and run into the defensive man. I think it's impossible to call that. Here's where, if they want safety, start testing for HGH drugs. Performance-enhancing drugs are all over the NFL, all over college football. Isn't it amazing that we understand now that Lance Armstrong used them in bicycling, and so did all the other people, and he denied it, but he used them. We know they used them in baseball, and they've admitted to using them in baseball. We had people hitting 65, 70 home runs, and now they hit 45. We know we use them in track and field. We know they used them in swimming. But isn't it amazing? In the most physical sport where performance-enhancing drugs would help football because it makes you bigger, stronger, faster. And isn't it amazing that we don't use them in college football and the NFL?
In a game where behemoths rule the roost, no, they couldn't possibly use performance-enhancing drugs.
And you really can't play in the strength positions without being on the stuff. You look at these guys, you go look at ESPN tonight and see these guys that were defensive ends weighing 265 pounds, now they weigh 185 pounds.
Yeah,
you tell me how that happens.
Mark Schlereth, a good guy. He's 100 pounds lighter now, offensive guard for the Washington Redskins and the Denver Broncos.
Well, take a look at David Pollock.
Yeah, David Pollock, exactly. Well, speaking of defensive linemen, now you played, this is what I find amazing. Not only did you play with this Hall of Famer, but did you have any idea that you were playing with a future Minnesota Supreme Court justice?
You mean Alan Page?
I mean Alan Page.
Well, you know, Alan was a great player, and of course we had the Purple People Eaters, Carl Ellis, Jim Marshall. What happened to Alan? I mean, he shortened his career because he was at 25. He weighed 280 pounds. No steroids, none of that stuff, and he was just a big guy who was quick and strong and fast. He became a marathon runner. He played his last 6 years at 225 pounds. Can you imagine?
As a defensive lineman.
Yeah, the defensive tackle. He went from two, and to his credit, he still was a good player, but not a great player. And then Jim Marshall and Carl L, the other two ends, they were caught up in other type of drugs that they were using, not performance-enhancing drugs. And here, one Marshall weighed 250, Eller weighed 265, and they played at 220.
Right.
Can you imagine? And we went to Super Bowls with them and that because they were great athletes. They were great competitors, and they just, they lost all their bulk.
Well, after your NFL career, you then took on the franchise of NFL Monday nights with Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And then you went on to a show that was, as my teenage years were, was the greatest show on television, if you ask me. That's incredible. How did an NFL Hall of Fame quarterback end up as one of the three hosts of That's Incredible?
Well, I'll tell you how it happened. I was the first athlete to host Saturday Night Live, and I hosted Saturday Night Live probably, the second year it was in business, and when they had all the Dan Aykroyd,
I believe you held it 77.
And I hosted that, and then when I retired, they were starting this show, and the first guy they looked at was Jim Palmer, the baseball player, to be the host with John Davidson and Kathleen Crosby, and that didn't work out. So they saw my show on the Saturday Night Live and liked it. And the producer Alan Lansbury, I didn't even have to audition. He came out and hired me, and we did that show for 4 years, and it had a great run. And I was on That's Incredible every night from 8 to 9, and then. We taped it, of course. Then I do Monday Night Football in the fall from 9 on.
Yeah, it was great shows.
Yeah.
Well, so Hall of Fame career, That's Incredible, Monday Night Football, but that only scratches the surface of Fran Tarkenton. You've been an entrepreneur now for, pretty much all your life.
All my life. I've started 20 companies. When I played in the National Football League, my first salary is $12,500. But I've always worked. I had a paper route. I had my first insurance license when I was 18 years old at the University of Georgia. I sold a Franklin Life Insurance President's Passbook investment plan. I've just built companies. I built technology companies in partnership with IBM, and I love business. And I understand that the mission of business is very simple. It's to help other people, it's to bring products that have relevancy, make them better, make the customer experience great, tell people the truth, be transparent. And when you do that, if that's your mission, which is my mission, and then you have a sustainable mission. You know that. And if that's not your mission, you'll compromise your principles. And I've been able to do that. And then I also in the last 15 years I work with all small business entrepreneurs. We worked with hundreds of thousands of them, and it's the lifeblood of America. And we provide them with tools and knowledge to be able to help them start and run their businesses better. And then about 10 years ago, so many of my senior friends were killed on the market by the .com bust, and none of them had a real plan in their to make sure they didn't run out of money in their senior years. And so I went and started a company called Targeted Financial, and what we do is educate. I handpicked 200 top financial advisors across the country that really understood, a conservative retirement plan for seniors, and to make sure they didn't run out of money. And so I put those people together across the country, handpicked, and then we go out and we have worked with thousands of seniors to make sure that they knew there was an alternative to the Wall Street group, that there were products out there that could give them the principal guaranteed and bring a modest return, and ensure their retirement years, that they wouldn't run out of money. So we've been doing that for 10 years, and then I do a lot of radios. I've had a show on Sirius XM for a long time, but I decided that we needed to reach more seniors, and what we have done is syndicated a radio show that your good station there at the WOCA at both 1370 AM and 96.3 FM every Sunday morning from 10 to 11. Sunday morning, we have a show called Fran Tarkenton's Common Sense Retirement, and it's an hour show, and I have two of the best retirement specialists on with me, and we go for 55 minutes and entertain the people, but we educate seniors and people that are looking at their retirement years at age 45 or 50, and we tell them the truth. We tell them where their options are. We tell them how they could, the importance of making a plan, the importance of being cautious and conservative and protecting their principal to make sure they don't run out of money. And we do that in markets where we already have one of our targeted financial retirement specialists living. And there in the Ocala area, we have some great people led by Tom Massimo that are great professionals. And what we do when the people listen to the show and they can call in, we don't have a call center. They call into my 800 number in Atlanta, Georgia, and my people are there manning the phones of weekends and weekdays. They can call anytime they want, and we make an appointment. It's a free appointment with our people, and there it's the Massimo Group, and we make the appointment, and it's a free appointment to just, you're going to the financial doctor, the retirement doctor, to see where you are and see what your options are. And we help people, and we run this show there on your great stations at Sunday morning, every Sunday morning,
10 o'clock,
from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And it is and we're doing this across the country, and it's a way for us to reach more seniors, because we need seniors to know there are options to Wall Street. And I know we get euphoric when we have the market going up, and it's going up. But one thing we know, the market it's at all-time high. It will go down.
Yeah.
And so as seniors, we don't have time when it goes down for another 20-year recovery or 10-year recovery. We've got to lock in our gains and be able to go. So it's a great show. It's great content, and my partners on that, Tony Dale and Philip Allen, are two of our guys that are just brilliant retirement specialists, financial advisors, and we put on a great show, and then we have great people there led by Tom Massimo and his group right there in Ocala.
Well, I tell you what, and it's not just, while it is a show that seniors need to tune in, I'm 47, and my retirement future looks like that when I'm 97, I'll still be working if I'm alive. So it's a show.
Well, it is important. But, here's the deal. In high school and college, nobody teaches how to manage our money. and so we don't have education on that, and so that's why it's so important that people, you're doing your work, find a professional who can show you something other than the stock market. There are options that are safe money options that ensure your retirement years. And again, your people listening can call us on Sunday morning. They can call us this afternoon or tomorrow morning. And the number is 855-770-7926. Now, if you don't call during the working hours, during the week, you call after, leave we'll get a voicemail, leave your mail, and somebody will call you back, and we'll make you an appointment right there with our group in Ocala, and you'll be glad you did. It's a free service, no tricks, no buttons. You get the free consultation, and if there's something there you want to do it, great. If it's not, it's our pleasure to help you.
Well, Fran, it's been such a pleasure talking with you today. Can we please do this again sometime?
Whenever. Just call me up. I love to do this, and I love to talk the sports, and whenever you want to, just call me up and we'll go.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Fran Tarkenton, NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, boyhood idol. That right there, JJ, when you get to talk to somebody that you grew up watching from a small child, watching play the game, that was extra special. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to start looking at the brackets. The games are tonight. See if JJ's changed his mind. Maybe he'll think Florida Gulf Coast will beat Florida tonight. And maybe he'll change his tomorrow night. And maybe he'll change his bracket and Miami will win the whole thing. We'll do that next. Oh, and we really should talk a little baseball sometime. We may not get to that today. We may have to do it tomorrow. And then Fran's Beard with Gator Talk Thursday, brought to you by Country Club of Ocala. All that next on Buddy Sports Page on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz. The Angie Lewis State Farm Agency is located at 1122 Northeast 36th Avenue, where visitors are always welcome and the coffee pot is always on. Call your good neighbor's State Farm agent today, Angie Lewis, at 294-2444.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day. Whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands, at Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Alice?
Yes, George?
Did you know I'm a truck driver now?
What?
I called Devon Self-Storage at 873-0777, and John and Mike now have a moving truck.
Are you cleaning out the garage?
Well, I do have time because Devon Self-Storage is open late, and they're right across from Hobby Lobby on 200.
You better call them first and reserve the truck.
Why?
So I'll know when there's room for the car.
Yes, Alice, yes.
Right now, somewhere in the world, there is a bear waking up from a long winter's hibernation. Scientists are not 100% sure how a bear knows winter is over, but I think I may have an explanation. Here it is. Spring comes to Florida first, so Florida gardeners get that spring fever first and head over to Kenny's Place Nursery. They go to Kenny's Place for gazanias, impatiens, geraniums, and begonias, all for 99 cents each. They also head to Kenny's Place Nursery for pansies, selling for $4 for $1. Now, that is a honey of a deal. Well, the thought of the honey reminds those gardeners of the special role pollinators like bees have in the garden. Now, every bear knows that where there are bees, there is honey. So, their noses wiggle, their ears twitch, and boom, the bear wakes up. And all because of a great sale at Kenny's Place Nursery. Who knew? Kenny's Place Nursery is located at 7677 Southeast 41st Court in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213. It's a honey of a deal at Kenny's Place.
Mark your calendars for Saturday, April 6th for the Francis Marion Military Academy Spring Fling at the Ocala Shrine Club on Mary Camp Road. Join the first annual Swamp Fox Chili Cook-Off and Classic Car Show. Take a chance on winning one of 5 different late model vehicles for the unbelievably low price of just $20 per ticket. Only 5,000 tickets will be sold. The proceeds benefit the Francis Marion Military Academy. Businesses, organizations, and talented individuals are invited to show off their cooking skills and to compete for the best tasting chili. Go to swampfoxevents.com for the registration directions to the Shrine Club, Car Show, Chili Cook-Off. Join our sponsors in supporting the Academy. Remember, that's Saturday, April 6th for the Francis Marion Military Academy Spring Fling at the Ocala Shrine Club on Mary Camp Road. The first annual Swamp Fox Chili Cook-Off and Classic Car Show. For more information, call Charlie at 843-7790. That's 843-7790. 843-7790. Or visit swampfoxevents.com.
Back on the Voice of Ocala Buddy Sports page. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz, joined by J.J. LaSalva. Just had NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Fran Tarkington on the radio. If you missed that interview, we're going to make it into a podcast. It'll be up on our podcast page. If you've missed any of our show, you can always find interesting podcasts from the show by going to WOCA.com, clicking on the picture of Buddy Martin when it pops up on the screen. Then it'll take you to the Voice of Ocala webpage. You go halfway down the page, click on the podcast emblem, and there's all the podcasts. We got Urban Meyer on a podcast there. We got Steve Spurrier on a podcast there. Soon to have NFL Hall of Fame quarterback Fran Tarkington on a podcast. Lots of interesting podcasts there, brought to you by our sponsors. All the sponsors are on there that are bringing you the podcast. Ask the Cops are on there. Lots of good content on our podcast page. WOCA.com. Click on the Buddy Martin click on the picture of Buddy Martin. Go to the Voice of Ocala page. Click on the podcast emblem, and it'll take you right to our podcast page. JJ, Sweet 16. Wow. Sweet 16 yes. Fires up tonight.
In about an hour. Hour and a half.
Who's playing tonight?
7:15 Marquette and Miami tip-off on CBS.
Marquette, mark it down, will not win the game.
I don't know about that. I am a Miami fan, but I think Miami could easily lose this game. They struggled last
Florida destroyed
weekend.
Marquette.
Okay, that was earlier in the season. Marquette wins all the close games. They won by 2 against Butler. They barely pulled out a victory against Davidson. 1 point, they should have lost that game. They ended up having to hit 3 after 3 at the end of the game. Also tonight, 7:45, Arizona plays Ohio State. That should be a good one on TBS. 9:45, sort of the biggest one of the night, Syracuse versus Indiana Hoosiers. CBS. And then relegated to 10:15 on TBS, LaSalle and Wichita State. Obviously not the glamour matchup.
But a lot of people are talking about that game because of they think it'll be a good contest because they're evenly matched, and
right, it's just
keeps
not
Cinderella alive.
Right, it's just not high-profile programs like Syracuse and Indiana, Arizona versus Ohio State. Those are big games.
Those are huge games. So you going with Miami tonight or Marquette?
I do think Miami is going to win.
Syracuse or Indiana?
But I wouldn't be surprised if Marquette wins. I like Indiana, and I like Ohio State. LaSalle, Wichita State, toss-up. I just go LaSalle.
You know, I heard somebody today talking that the one game that they see an upset coming, it was Bruce Pearl, former Tennessee head coach.
Correct.
He predict Arizona upsets Ohio State tonight because Arizona's got a big man that can play with Ohio State's big man, and they got good guard play.
Well, Iowa State almost beat Ohio State last week.
I know. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's, my bracket's destroyed, so I'm watching it now from the standpoint of just watching basketball.
That's what I wanted to do from day one. After Gulf Coast beat my Final Four team, I was like, I don't care. This is over. Speaking
of Florida Gulf Coast, they're already in Arlington, Texas, along with the University of Florida. They'll be facing off with each other tomorrow night, 10:07 tip. For Florida Gulf Coast, this is a team that's gym seats 3,800 people. Tomorrow night, they could play in front of upwards of 70,000 people. I think that's gonna be huge. Walking on that stage, it's gonna be a big challenge for Florida Gulf Coast. And I know some people are falling in love with the darlings of the dance. I'm with Dave Pingalore. 0 shot at winning this basketball game. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to Franz Beard on Gator Talk Thursday. See how much of a chance he gives Florida Gulf Coast as they take on the University of Florida Gators in Arlington, Texas tomorrow night in the Sweet 16. We'll do that next on Buddy Sports Page on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless the recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
Are you looking for a trustworthy auto care company that won't sell you something you don't need? Look no further than Affordable Auto Air and Care. Affordable Auto Air and Care has serviced Ocala for a decade and is family owned and operated. They offer quality parts at affordable prices, and they even include a 1-year or 12,000-mile warranty on their parts and labor. Their certified technicians work on any type of vehicle, even RVs. They specialize in auto AC, but they also offer oil changes, brake service, filters, tune-ups, shocks, axles, complete auto repair. Affordable Auto Air and Care is located at 1841 Northwest 4th Avenue on the corner of Old Jacksonville Road and 441. Call 352-401-0011 to book an appointment. That's 352-401-0011. Affordable Auto Air and Care. Complete auto repair. Take it from me, Tom Schmitz. I'm a customer.
If you want to avoid getting ripped off and put more money in your pocket, then join me, Clark Howard, every weeknight at 6, right here on WOCA, The Source.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Even when men and women have identical thermometer readings, the extra temperature receptors in men mean they'll feel hotter, which also means they experience more aches and pains. If your supervisor is micromanaging every single thing you do, experts say this is a classic sign they don't trust you to get the job done. Which is worse, drinking alcohol before bed or coffee before bed? Both are going to mess with your sleep, but in opposite ways.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hello all, Joe Martone here for Karaoke Time. You hear me each morning for the segment of Fun with Joe? Well, fun is what I do. So the next time you want to have a get-together, for just about any reason, give me a call. 470-0276 for Karaoke Time. That number is 470-0276. Everybody likes to sing, and with the words on the screen, it's just that much easier. Call Karaoke Time, 470-0276 for the next event, big or small. Karaoke Time can keep the fun in your business, too.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Here we go.
Hi, this is Josh.
And this is Brad. Join us every Friday at 9 here on WOCA for our show,
Winging It.
It's all about aviation and such things. Basically, just winging it.
It's a chance for me to rebel against the orderly way of flying.
We will also be giving away Discovery flights and other prizes.
So tune in on Fridays here on WOCA The Source.
Or watch us online at www.woca.com.
Okay, let's go home.
If it happens in Ocala, you'll hear it first on WOCA News Talk 1370.
WOCA.
Welcome back to Buddy's Sports Page. I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. Buddy taking the early days, Thursday and Friday off to get him a long weekend on the Easter weekend. A man who's not taking a day off because he's a huge basketball guru, and basketball is front and center right now with the NCAA tournaments going on. Sweet 16 starting again tonight, NCAA brackets. Let's go up to Gainesville, Florida, and join Franz Beard. Franz, thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, it's a great night for basketball, and it cranks up in a little more than an hour and a half.
Which is why we're get you done here with Gator Talk Thursday, brought to you by Country Club of Ocala, and then I'll go home, cook me a little dinner, and get set in front of the 60-inch to watch some basketball. Speaking of tonight's games, do you see any upsets in the making tonight? Lower seeds winning?
I can tell you right now, I believe that Syracuse is going to beat Indiana. I think Arizona has a very, very good chance to beat Ohio State. Watch this. Everybody's talking about Mark Lyons and Aaron Kraft. Certainly a good matchup. The matchup to watch is they're going to put Solomon Hill and Kevin Parham. They're going to alternate those two guys. They think they got 10 fouls to give with those on Deshaun Thomas. That's the big matchup right there. Solomon Hill is a terrific defensive player. And if Deshaun Thomas can't score, Ohio State can't win. And I think Arizona can pull that upset. That's on at 7:47 game tonight over on TBS. I think that one's possible. I like Syracuse to beat Indiana. I think Syracuse has the length on the wings. I think Michael Carter-Williams, who's 6'6", up at the top of that zone, is going to make it impossible to get that straight-on three-pointer that Indiana loves so much. And I like the fact that right now Syracuse has the hottest shooter in the game, and that is James Sutherland. This guy is absolutely on fire, and I think he is going to light up Indiana. I look for Syracuse to win this ball game.
Well, now the game that I'm looking forward to tonight, we'll talk about the Florida game in just a minute, but the game I'm looking forward to tonight, just because I'm a basketball junkie, because I want to see a record, LaSalle takes on Wichita State. Do you know if LaSalle wins, they'll be the first 13 seed or lower to reach the Elite Eight?
Yes, they will. I don't think they're going to win, though. I like Wichita State in this ball game. I think Wichita State can defend the perimeter, and I think if LaSalle can't hit perimeter shots, I think this game is all over. LaSalle's certainly got great shooters. Ramon Galloway, who played at Palm Beach Gardens, his high school ball. He's actually from Philadelphia, though, but played his high school ball at Palm Beach Gardens, played AAU ball for the Florida Rams, and then played 2 years at South Carolina. He is their top scorer at 17 a game, and he's a 42% three-point shooter. But he cannot create his own shot. I like the way that Wichita State defends the perimeter. I like Wichita State's length on the perimeter. I think they've got, Wichita State is not a team that is tremendously tall, but they've got a lot of these guys who are 6'7", 6'8", who have long arms. I like this guy, Cleanthony Early, who is a 6'8" wing who can really defend out there. I like the way he can defend. I think they're going to give all kinds of fits to LaSalle's outside game. I like Wichita State in this game. And that leaves us one to play, and that is Miami and Marquette.
Yeah, and I just don't give Marquette much of a chance to win this ball game.
Well, I will tell you something. There is an advantage right now. If there's a slight advantage for Marquette, it is the fact that right now Miami is going to have to deal with not being able to play with Big Reggie Johnson. He is out. He may be able to come back next weekend, but he's out this weekend. They've played without him. They've won without him. But, the games are called tighter, as you know, Tom, at this level. Once you get to the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, they start calling the games tighter. And having that three-man rotation of bigs is a whole lot more important. So this could be a very, very big loss for Miami. But I see Miami advancing in this game. I don't see Miami advancing to the Final Four, though, not without Johnson.
Well, now we come to the game everybody in this area is talking about. Tomorrow night, 10:07 tip on TBS, Florida versus Florida Gulf Coast University, the upstarts from down in Fort Myers. Buddy struggled with this game, friends. He went back and forth before saying, against his better judgment, he was going to go with the University of Florida. Why is it just everybody's we got about a minute to go. Is it everybody's just buying into this Cinderella story? Because I don't think Florida Gulf Coast has a shot at all in this basketball game.
Oh, they got a shot because they show up, but they're not going to win this ball game. Let me tell you what happened here, Tom. They went back. Florida Gulf Coast flew from Philadelphia back to Fort Myers, and these guys have spent a week with everybody telling them how great they are, patting them on their shoulders. People who've never known them suddenly know them and love them and have been their big fans all year long, which we know is better than that. They've had every kind of microphone thrown in their face because the media has descended there. Everybody wants to know, who's your girlfriend? What's your favorite class? Do you eat spaghetti on Wednesdays? Yada, yada, yada. Everything that can distract you. And everybody's telling them, wow, you guys are magnificent. Look what you did, all this other stuff. They've had a week of this. Meanwhile, Florida left Austin, Texas, went up to an undisclosed hotel in Dallas, and has practiced and done its schoolwork from up there. They've been overlooked by the media. They've been pretty much sequestered. They've been by themselves, and it's given Billy Donovan the time to say, look, guys, look at all this attention they're giving, and they're giving you guys no respect. Billy Donovan is going to have this team psychologically and physically ready, and I think Florida is going to go out there and blow the doors off these people.
Well, friends, we'll be watching that. Thanks so much for calling us on Gator Talk Thursday, brought to you by Country Club of Ocala. Get in front of a TV somewhere, my friend, and start taking in college basketball in a little over an hour.
I will. And, hey, folks out there, if you're listening, local talk radio, good local talk radio is hard to find. Support the sponsors who support this show, because this is a quality show, and you don't find too many good ones like this anywhere in the country. Appreciate that kind word, Franz. Franz Beard, Gator Talk Thursday. JJ, he didn't seem like he had much love for your Miami Hurricanes to the Final Four. I think they are.
I join him on that.
You do join him on that.
But I think they win tonight.
I want to thank my guest, my co-host, Lloyd Martin Gregory, for helping me out today. And, of course, NFL Hall of Famer Fran Tarkington and Franz Beard.
Our Hall of Famer.
Our Hall of Famer, exactly. Thank him. For Sean Frazier, our intern. For J.J. LaSalva pushing all the right buttons. And for Buddy Martin giving me the opportunity to get behind the microphone every now and then. I'm Tom Schmidt saying have a great night, everybody.